Trust me, folks, we are not playing.
We come together like wada singing banging about something with our brothers.
Friends, how many do we have them? Not many today.
No, don't be changing that song. I mean, that's a classic. Everyone loves Grease except you, apparently.
Oh yeah, I fucking hate Grease. Grease is fucking terrible. But we're gonna be talking about that shit tonight. And your stupid boy John Travolta. I hate that fucking dude. And I hate
How's
that
he my
fucking
boy?
movie.
I like
because you probably like that
two
shit.
movies. I like Face Off and Grease. I don't know what else this motherfucker's been in.
By the way, too, looking at the chat, you guys have been awesome this whole fucking entire time. I just want to say I apologize for everything, and also want to throw some positive vibes out there as well because our boy Alan is gone. He's having a baby. Fuck, his sister is having a baby. I mean,
the incest trend continues on this show.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, and yeah, Julian, that's something. Wow, I'm surprised no one noticed that until now. Anthony put that in there way in the beginning of the first beginning of the Midnight Chat Attack, and he put that in. I don't know why. But yeah, just it says, did it just say learn to read? Yes, it did. Now, Mr. I'm fucking. Should we just start over? Goddammit!
No. You're fine. Shh. Just go on with it. They don't notice it.
I just can't, man. No, but people tonight we're doing. This is like our own movie review extravaganza to a point because.
Ganza.
No, we're not doing that shit. No, I'm not stealing everything. I'll steal little pieces of what Corey has created.
Hold on. Did we just get a copyright strike? You bastard.
No, not at all, because I control those. So I'm not going to get ourselves in trouble. No, one big thing, too, people, is we're also missing another co-host here. What is that?
That'd be hilarious if your ass on the double toasted account copyrights harder than that Chat Attack account.
I could. I literally could. And you know what's funny, too, is we do this thing with BBTV, and you can actually go to the BBTV account site and choose whether you want to, start some shit with somebody. There's a button. It's like fucking playing like Civilization or something. There's a button.
It's a nuke button.
Yeah, it's a fuck you button. You just click on it and it gets the other channel in trouble for taking your shit, which no one's gonna take Corey's shit, so we're good. But yeah, Roger Bear just said rent this time. It's not even like him trying to actually get us to actually watch it. He's just saying rent. I gotta bring up rent. Man, what do you feel about doing that in a couple weeks?
I want to watch Rent because, one, I haven't seen it, and two, I'm not really a fan of musicals all that well. I like Wizard of Oz. I like Grease, mostly because that was my mom's favorite shit, and that's what I used to watch when I was like mother-son bonding time and whatnot. Because I'm a history nerd, so the whole aspect of the 50s and trying to capture that whole lifestyle and that futuristic vibe. And this one, Rent, is completely not that. It is basically, what I heard, is 90s hipsterism on steroids. And that shit pisses me off. And I don't really get angry at shows regularly. And when it comes to fucking bad musicals, I tend to lose my shit. And I think it'll just be good content for you guys to see me have an aneurysm live on air.
Absolutely, yeah. Analism. Or aneurysm, I don't know what the fuck. But here's the thing, though. They're saying he wants to see Ian rage on a movie on the 2018 shit show, which would be funny as shit as well. But, man, you guys saying you want to see rage, there's going to be a legit huge amount of rage tonight. I cannot stand pretty much everything we're talking about except for one. Now, I actually changed it earlier. We were going to talk about Batman Ninja, but if Alan's not here because, like I said, his sister's having a baby, that's why he's not going to be here. He might be here later on, a little bit late today. Allie's gone. She's doing her own thing. But she's not having a baby, so don't worry. But
not yet.
Not yet. And when that happens, it'll be on the show because I wanted to hear her go, oh my God, and just scream on the show.
So that's going to be like one of our special episodes. We just kick in the door and just live stream her when her giving birth.
Like, oh my God, guys, get out of here.
Hey, how are you still conscious? They should have gave you that epidural already.
It's like, I'm fucked up. And their mom gets mad.
It's like, my camera's looking at her future husband's camera at the same time.
Get out of here, shit.
It's like one of those horror movies where they try to make it seem like interesting for the first person action for the cameraman to see each other.
Exactly. It'll actually be like one of those sitcom deliveries where when Martin fucking took that one baby and it just shot through the entire fucking kitchen. Like, oh man, I love
I'll be like that one stupid guy that confuses the umbilical cord for a penis. Be like, God damn, your kid's stacked. As they're dragging us out of the delivery room.
That's fucking terrible, man. Anyways, people, yeah, Allie's gone for tonight, but Alan might actually come in here later, so we'll save Batman Ninja for him because I do think that out of rage, Alan's going to give us the biggest reaction because he really, really hated that fucking anime. But we'll see what happens with that. If he doesn't come in, we're going to do Cobra Kai, which, man, for YouTube Red, Cobra Kai. God. Yes, dude, I want to go to fucking karate dojo. I was gonna say dildo dojo. I want to go there right now and learn some karate.
All right. Right.
No, not a dildo. No, let's not do that. But yeah, people. So, if you guys want to get onto the show, that's one big thing I was going to bring up tonight too. And yeah, just we're doing lots of movies, so I'm like, hey, fuck it. If you guys have seen any of these movies too, I know they're kind of old. Make sure to come on in. We'll bring you in. We're talking about Elle, Grease, Grease Lightning, all that bullshit. And
Grease catching an L.
God, a huge fucking L, an old, outdated L. God damn it. But the thing is, though, we're talking about all that stuff as well. And another thing tonight, too, is it's been 2 weeks, Ganja, from our last After Hours. So we're doing a little something today. We're doing something that you guys are going to completely choose. You're going to choose the theme for this. I'm going to pull it up right now.
I don't trust them with this fucking vote.
Oh, you shut your face. No, we're doing either one or two things. We did plan this a while ago, saying we're going to do Satire Night. The thing is, we might not do that because I didn't know about this whole May the 5th be with you or some shit. What's that Star Wars thing?
No, it's Revenge of the 5th, and it's May the 4th be with you, all right?
Good lord. It's so fucking stupid. Anyway, so with that said, now I know I didn't put Revenge of the 5th or Sith, whatever the fuck, in here because it's a terrible movie. And I personally, if I'm going to be running the After Hours, I do not want to have terrible fucking movies. We gotta watch something good. So I handpicked all these, and yes, I did put Last Jedi in there. But some people might like Last Jedi. Maybe people want to go in there and talk shit during the movie. That's cool. But we're gonna.
I like how you just banked on all the original Star Wars
because those are the only ones that are good or can be considered good.
Like I thought you were gonna throw like maybe Revenge of the Sith, maybe what's it called? What's the first one called?
Force Awakens.
Shit, I'm blanking on. Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace.
Oh no, Phantom Menace is actually not too bad, but people hate it, so I can't. I'm gonna try to win points with this one.
I think people hate Phantom Menace because it was the first one of those terrible trash movies, but it's a lot more forgivable than Attack of the Clones.
I guess you're right, but we're gonna put up a straw poll, and I'll make it during the Rabbit, and you guys can vote in there, and we'll choose out of these. We'll choose whether it's gonna be Satire Night or Star Wars Night. And then we'll make another poll, and you'll choose on what movie we're gonna watch from those particular nights. Now, Satire Night, for people who are listening, it's gonna be Tropic Thunder, This Is the End, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, or This Is Spinal Tap. I have not seen Hot Fuzz and God Knows How Long. I have not seen This Is Spinal Tap, so we'll see what happens with that. And then obviously Star Wars Night will be Force Awakens and New Hope. Empire Strikes Back, Returns. I said Returns. I said that shit wrong. Return of the Jedi and The Last Jedi.
Dijon in the chat. Man, I wish you guys didn't use Imgur because you actually have to click it, and Nick is not going to do that and waste his CPU time to get one gift going. But he posted Imgur where it's just a little bird singing that looks just like Penelope to a baby. And I'm like, yeah, that's cute and right on so many levels.
Yeah, and here it is right here, folks. Yeah, this is Penelope like, welcome to the
world, everyone.
Actually, they're arguing right now. Baby's like, Google Gaga. Now it's like, dude, no. That's not true.
It's like, first of all, I was here first.
Exactly. Hey, you better follow the fucking rules. If you don't follow the rules, you're gonna get the JP hat. No, but anyways, no. Alan's great, and hopefully Alan is over there holding his baby nephew or niece, whatever it is, and
like Rafiki from Lion King right now, just holding him over the edge of the building,
and then drops him. Dude, shit, fuck. Halfway down, the baby grows wings, starts flying and shit. It's like, oh my god, we finally did it. But yeah, man. So yeah, hopefully Alan's okay with that and all that good jazz. Maybe he's watching this right now. But Mr. Ganja Guru, you know what it's time for, man?
Time for the rules?
I think so. I'm trying to fucking like stall a little bit because I can't find them fucking things. There they are. Oh, where are those rules, Mr. Gurus?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking at your computer screens right now, rule number 1, newcomers join the call first. We're all about those new, fresh smelling faces, those people we haven't seen in a while, or popping on having a while. We know who you are, we've seen you, and we're glad to have you guys back. Please let us know through any means necessary. Smoke signals, fire signals, light signals, I don't care, find a way. Or you can just hit up on the DM boxes or PMs through Double Toasted or Facebook. Rule number 2, do not talk over each other. Or just lose your fucking mind because it ruins audio quality and later viewing for people that want to watch us later. Rule number 3, please no nudity. This is a staple when it comes to clean, squeaky clean internet, and we are squeaky clean boys. So keep aside your pants. Rule number 3, please no nudity. Rule number 4, do not give anyone else the link. We have a planned show, current topics, certain compensations, and all that bullshit goodness we provide to you guys. So if you're handing the link out to anyone else we're not ready for, you're gone, and so is the asshole that clicked it. Rule number 5, because Allie girl ain't here, you gotta do it, Diaz.
Don't be a dick, motherfucker. Actually, that's what we need to have her do. She needs to say motherfucker next time.
Look, hold on. We got her saying shit. We got her saying fuck now. We gotta reel her in more, all right? But it's gotta be done slow. We gotta honeypot her. Just like that call me by your name guy did.
Exactly. I can't believe you're about to say. You actually said it right. You're about to say "Call Me Maybe," but you did it right. I'm actually really
Fuck
happy
you.
about that. Well,
Call maybe.
I was trying to be fucking nice. I was trying to compliment you, motherfucker.
You shouldn't be nice to that movie. It's horrible. It's trash.
Oh man, no. But people, we are here. We are not queer, but that's okay if you are. We're about to get into. I don't know what the fuck I was going for. I was just trying to rhyme, man. That was terrible. But the thing is, though, we are going to be talking about Black Panther yet again. Now, it's not about box office sales. It's not about how good the movie is. Not a review. Nothing like that. But it's about, apparently, this shit's going to be taking over our real life, man. What's up with this whole thing of vibranium being real? What is that shit?
I have no inclination on this story being real or a possibility. I think nerds have finally lost their minds and are just naming things that are real vibranium at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the same thing. They're just... Basically, the people from Screen Rant, this is where I actually got the story from, they're trying to just do whatever they can to, I guess, bring up Black Panther. You know what I mean?
Clickbait!
Yeah, exactly, clickbait. But the thing is, though, there is something to it. Apparently, there's a thing called Dragon Silk from the U.S. Army. Right over here, it says it's some kind of spider silk that the U.S. Army is trying to develop, significantly more flexible than Kevlar, but only about 67% as strong.
Yo, they've been saying this forever, Nick. I'm glad that they talked about that spider silk or whatever the fuck it's called. Ever since I've been into like the nerd shit of like superheroes and whatnot, I've always had like the idea of someone getting the Spider-Man power. And when Spider-Man came out, this was the exact same shit they were talking about. That they were comparing it to the silk. You could use it to stop heating processes. You can use it to carry like a ton or some shit. Like, this is just something I think the company is just trying to push every time there's a new superhero to sell like these Kevlar vests they make.
Well, so you don't think at all that this would ever be possible at all? You think?
Well, no, it's possible and it works from what I hear. But the problem is, like, it's one of those things that, like I said earlier, it's a clickbait for Screen Rant to get like nerds or just have a hard on for Black Panther or anything Black Panther. Especially, you know, spoiler alert, he died in the movie, so now people are really trying to get any kind of access to the character. So it's just one of those things they're trying to sell shit to people, and it's just trying to get on the whole hype train of the clickbaitiness of the internet.
Yeah, no, I think the exact same thing, honestly. And you know, people are saying that. And I'm gonna go back to this actual.
And Wakanda forever.
They're saying the closest comparison is that, or this video by Enverse actually makes that vibranium is with graphene, a semi-metal that is stronger than both Kevlar and steel. Yet then you know that 97% of light passes through it. Yeah, why would that be even slightly comparable to vibranium? By the way, too, like what does the light have to do with it?
That's the thing, like they're talking about like light passes through, and the thing about light is like they eventually want to use it as like kind of want like basically what Solid Snake does in Metal Gear Solid 4 with the whole suit outfit that disappears into the dirt and it looks just like the dirt and whatnot. But like has nothing to do with vibranium and the powers of Black Panther. Now, unless you can eject the light like a sunbeam or as an energy beam like he does in the movie, then again, it's just part of that clickbait shit, just trying to get people that are Nerf fans a hand job.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they even have a demonstration in this particular video over here, and I guess I'll go ahead and play it.
I mean, I'm not shitting on the technology. I just hate when it uses clickbait stuff to get this shit across.
Yeah, no, and I definitely agree. I mean, this would have been a much better story for us not talking shit about it if it was in the sense or in the realm of, hey, this is a cool new armor that the U.S. Army's working on, as opposed to saying vibranium's real. It's like, motherfucker, that is so loosely based on what this entire idea or this video actually is. This video has
unless at the end of the article it goes, they're releasing a whole outfit of like a mod version of the outfit, so you look like Black Panther. Then it makes some sense. But if not, nah, fuck you.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. So it is what it is, folks. But hopefully the Black Panther suit actually becomes real. I do want to ask you this though: what technology in films that you do wish was actually real? Because I actually have a few in my own head. But is there one that you wish was real from a movie or a game?
I always wanted the Iron Man suit to be real, or the ones from Fallout, because I think they are just fucking badass, and they are a little bit based on the possibility of science.
But the Fallout suits from the video game?
Fallout suits, yeah, those fucking I forget what they're called, T-35s or some bullshit, and they're basically these giant power armors, almost like Iron Man, but they're more bulkier and they look a little more realistic. It's the guy right there, and they have different versions. Some are more like a giant tank and some are more like these giant like knight armor dudes, and it's more believable within the realm of Fallout because they're designed to like protect you from extreme radiation, which that means the suit is just locked in permanently and there can't be no outside things can get in, and it's built for like military invasion, so it has this whole kind of idea of power armor and nuclear fission energy protecting it, and I like it. It's just it's basically what the stormtroopers have. The armor makes some sense.
Yeah, and for me, I gotta tell you,
it just looks appealing too.
No, it really does. It looks badass. I mean, that's one of the first things that kind of sold me on Goddamn. What's that fucking movie? I can't remember the movie now. Oh well. Or no, the video game, Fallout 3. Right away it starts off where it shows a post-apocalyptic fucking area and it shows a bus and the camera goes out of the bus and you see that dude over there and he's like, war never changes. And I'm like, okay, I'm fucking sold. So yeah, I mean,
if it wasn't so deep in RPG, I think you'll like it a lot more as a series.
The thing is, I just never got to play them. I played Fallout 3 and then I never got to play New Vegas. And man, I gotta tell you, and you agree with this too, Fallout 4 is just fucking trash. Like, you know.
I swear, I bought the game when it first came out. Did I play it? I did.
Yeah.
Do I remember anything I played after this month of playing it over again? Nope.
Damn, and you played it again a month ago?
No, I think it was a month or 2 months ago when I tried it again, and I was praising the mod community and all that bullshit. And I keep saying it. I don't know what the fuck I played when that game first came out.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. But here's one thing I want to bring up really quick, and this is something I wish was fucking real. This shit. Now, really quick, I'm going to test to see your movie knowledge, or your video game movie knowledge.
Ruthless? Hold on. I hate to divert because Ruthless brings out a good point. I think you would like New Vegas because it's more based in shooting, and it has a little bit less of the elements, and your choices matter a lot more.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like I would like it. I mean, you know, it is what it is. But I will say that, you know, it's one of those games that's easily accessible now. I mean, you can buy that shit for what, like $10 now?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
I can easily test that soon.
Well, fuck that. Check your Steam.
Yeah, shit. Hey, I'm not like everybody else. I'll say yes, motherfucker. Like I'm a cheap ass motherfucker. But moving on, this is something I wish was real. Now you tell me, what is this, Mr. Ganja Guru?
Hold on, I'm waiting for the rabbit to keep up. Okay, so War Games, man.
Yes,
I love this fucking movie.
I love this fucking movie too, man. I love this movie so much. And you know what? This girl does too. She's like, oh, I like that movie. I'm so glad you showed me.
Yeah, she got the same cheekbones as me. That's kind of weird.
I know. It's kind of hot. I'm looking at you in a whole new light now, Mr. Country. No, okay. Oh, man. Oh, by the way, speaking of hot.
All I need is some dimples, brother.
I know. But, hey, speaking of hot, our boy Alan's over here. How you doing, man?
Hey, man!
Oh, literally have to rush back, man. I don't even have the YouTube chat up. I don't even know.
He's glowing just from being around a new baby.
Exactly. Yeah.
a little bit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. How you feeling, man? Really quick.
Good. Yeah. Just for people wondering why I basically just crashed y'all's stream. I really rarely talk about my family, but my sister had a baby the other day, so I finally got to see my new nephew.
And we want to confirm it's not yours, right?
Oh, man, god damn it!
I'm not. Anyway.
Hold on.
I'm shutting you the fuck up.
Hold on. He's gonna watch
my moment.
He's gonna watch the beginning of the show, so we gotta explain ourselves a little bit. Basically, Nick had fucked up and said that, yeah, Alan's having a baby. And we were like, oh, that just continues the trend of incest on the show. But
that's what you fuck, man.
Yeah. Please continue enjoying the birth of life and letting the people know about your life.
Anyway, but Jesus Christ. In my head, I was like thinking at some point I got to come and explain what's going on. And I think in my head, I'm like, I wonder what stupid thing Ganja's going to say.
No, this time Nick did it.
I was on accident, man. I was talking really fast and I accidentally said that you had a baby.
That's fine. I don't blame him because I literally because it kind of just got sprung on me. Like, yeah, we're gonna go see. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, yeah, it's a typical stuff. The baby was sleeping for the most part. We got to kind of see it and just passing jokes between me and my sister, like we always do. We have that kind of repertoire. We're just always joking around and stuff.
Passing jokes after giving birth.
Oh yeah, my sister was making jokes the entire time.
What kind of fucking super soldier are you related to?
I'm sorry, but my sister did the same thing too. She was just
what the fuck?
Hey, because it's not like it was like an hour afterwards. Like she's had at least like because it was literally like 24 hours as of yesterday. So she's kind of like she's okay now. But yeah, she's like, oh hey,
she's happy it's over.
Yeah, exactly. That's I was like, oh hey, you guys actually found the place.
Talking about sisters and baby shit. My mom one time, like well, not one time, like when my fucking niece was born. She was only born once. But anyways, she was in there and she had the baby. She's like, and she looked at my brother-in-law. And she's like, it looks just like you. And my sister's like, does it though? Doesn't really. And my brother-in-law was like, again, just like he was pissed as fuck.
Oh man.
Like, yeah, real fucking funny, you twat.
Oh, that's so fucked up.
You always gotta do that stuff because it's like you just throw stuff around. No one ever means half the stuff they say at that stuff.
Your sister really want to be, but like, nah, it kind of looks like your cousin.
Exactly. Oh man, but like I said, congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations, Birdman.
Thank you. Yes,
awesome.
I could go with that one, Uncle Birdman.
And I hope your sister had a healthy baby and everything's going great as well, brother.
Oh, thank you so much, guys, and everyone in the chat that's saying the same thing. I feel I feel really happy right now. So thank you all.
Another big congratulations to you from somebody too is Dabney Coleman. She also says thank you or congratulations, Alan.
Wait, is that what's her face from Breakfast Club?
Fuck you.
Wait, is she from Breakfast Club?
No, she's not.
That looks just like that girl from the
First of
Breakfast
all,
Club.
it's not Molly Ringwald. And second of all, you can't identify war games, bitch.
Wait, no, I'm not talking about Molly Ringwald. I'm talking about the emo chick.
No.
Yeah, I thought that was her.
Is it?
I was about to agree with him. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's time to Google.
Wait, I know.
Live Google searches, guys. I didn't miss a thing.
Dude, no, Justin.
That's her from the Breakfast Club.
No, really quick, but Justin's gonna get mad at me. I said Dabney Coleman. And that's a man. I fucked up.
You can see the resemblance a little bit.
I like her earlier work.
Man, I'm really glad that she was able to transition in such a beautiful way.
That's a huge range.
Oh my god, dude. I'm sorry. I'm fucking stupid. But they're saying it's her. Kirk is saying it is her, and so is Roger Bear. So, hey, but it's something we learned that's new. I don't know.
Okay, all right. I trust the chat. They got Google.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know, to an extent. I mean, they might be wrong, but it's all right, though. At least they're not as wrong as fucking I was right now. I feel like a
or
fucking
ganja.
moron.
I was about to start a fight over it.
Exactly. That's okay, though.
Strong opinions about the Breakfast Club.
But talking about this, though, I was going to say, yeah, definitely War Games is something I really wish there was a computer out there that fucking did what this computer does. I remember watching this, and I used to have fantasies of the idea of going in and changing your homework grades and your report cards and your progress reports, helping your friends out. And just the cool shit about this computer being a video game, a living, breathing, talking fucking video game that plays with you on a constant basis to get smarter and smarter and smarter. I love that idea, and I know those computers actually are like that in real life, but I just wish they were as accessible with us, with just regular folk. Although that is scary too, because some guy could probably start a fucking war just like this movie. But Alan, I'm going to ask you, and I guess I'll bring you up to speed here, is like, what technology in a movie that you wish was real?
Technology in a movie that I wish was real. Oh, man. Okay. This isn't really technology per se, but it kind of is to a certain degree. In John Wick 2, because I'm just throwing off the top of my head. In John Wick 2, they got all these suits that are made with this super durable fabric that stops bullets from going in. So you can still look super fly in a suit, but it's bulletproof.
Wow, okay.
I think that'd be cool as shit, because you can go out there, get a $10,000 outfit, you look cool as shit, and someone's like, man, fuck you, you look too good. Tries to shoot you, bullet bounces off.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a cool concept. But, God, see, I haven't seen John Wick 1 or 2, but, like, this, honestly, you tell me that right there, I'm like, yeah, this movie I can tell I'm probably going to be fucking mad at, because that's a silly-ass concept. Like,
it's 100% super silly, but, hey, you asked me what I thought was cool, it's cool.
Yeah. Oh, Julian saying the Oasis. He says that the Oasis will be a great thing.
Yeah, do you see what the Oasis did to that world?
Hey, man, VR.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I think this already kind of exists to a certain point, and I do wish it was as realistic as this movie. I am 100% for the Oasis, and the reasoning why is because I do think that taken away from, the whole post-apocalyptic aspect of that fucking movie, which, by the way, the Oasis, the movie will tell you that this Oasis shit made the world like that. I'm telling you, if you're in a fucking video game and you start getting hungry and you have no money to pay the bills, to put your lights on, whatever the fuck, the whole thing, yeah, the world would not end up like that. People are not that stupid.
Yeah, but no. It's not that that's how the world ended up. Is that it helped with the whole thing of like people were so sucked into this world that it became like the de facto way anyone interacted with anything. So as a result, it increased the cost and the use of bandwidth and all that stuff. So then when the world collapsed, this was the only thing that they could be left because it was so ingrained in society. So it's like that technology helped with the ruining of the world.
I guess, I mean, to an extent, with the movie and with its messages, you're absolutely 100% correct.
Man, reality is the best because it's real.
It's real.
Yeah, that fucking movie. I'm sorry, people. I had a good time in that movie. I do think you should watch the movie theater if it's still there. But, good God, it's fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid.
Hold on, it mixes.
Yeah, and I'm telling y'all too. I know people have read the book, etc. I bet that book is just as fucking dumb. But it is what it is.
Man, okay, so CJ in the chat saying I low key look like Keanu. Why do people keep saying that?
That's a compliment for your ass, though.
No, I'm
not. I
was
about to say you have the Matthew Bradford haircut from War Games too.
Oh, that's a compliment too, though.
No, because it's like people keep saying that. Like when Keanu Reeves in the Matrix 1, he didn't have any facial hair, and when back when I didn't have facial hair, my friend kept saying, "Yo, man, you look just like him." Like, I don't see it at all.
I kind of see it in a couple of these.
Yo,
I love the guy, but
no, young Keanu Reeves right there, like from middle school,
yeah,
kind of looks like if you have the beard.
Oh yeah, over here.
Yeah,
Dude, that's him on the left.
you're right. Yeah, you're right. That same hair.
Yeah, holy shit! I'm gonna leave it on you really quick. There he is, and then there he is. Yeah.
Well, hey, if they play a biopic, I could play Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, just cut Keanu Reeves in half, and there he is. Like, I'm just joking.
The only thing is, y'all nose is similar, but y'all don't have the same cheekbones and eyebrows.
I'm not as pretty as he is.
No, you're a really pretty guy. Yeah, I'll say that.
So y'all fucking?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, there he is. I'll fuck him 4 times. No,
Lord.
but yeah, no, Keanu Reeves, man. Now I'm checking out Keanu Reeves. He's a good-looking man. Anyways, moving on.
The thirst for Birdman is strong.
Roger Bear enjoyed Ready Player One. That's cool too. You have terrible taste. No, I'm just playing. But anyways, yeah. So we already talked about our whole technology thing. We're moving on to the next thing, and this is gonna feel like a repeat because we had talked about this before. With
This AMC MoviePass still pissing people off.
Yeah, exactly. That's the end. So moving on. The thing that I want to bring up is that, and I don't know how to pronounce this fucking company, Sanamia. They're actually. Sanama. But did it?
He did phenomenal his way out of the call, guys.
Gosh, just Kadooed. We can too.
No, we're not even kidding. We just lost him.
No, we literally just lost some guys. He gone. But it doesn't matter.
Man.
He just Kadooed. He will be back. Maybe his fucking sister had a daughter too. I don't know. Or had a kid. Aside from that, though, this particular thing, we talked about this before. Ganja grew up back.
Hangouts clearly didn't like that joke.
It did not. But at least you're back now. But moving on, though, I want to bring this up is that the fact that Sanamia, whatever the fuck it's called, they're actually based in the United Kingdom, Canada, etc., and they're only here in California. So they're not like a company that's really trying to compete with MoviePass or AMC at all here in the States. But they're trying to, in a sense of having subscription prices and plans that they just implemented this week, trying to take over, or at least trying to compete. Ganja's gone again. Don't know what happened.
I think what it is, it's like the whole name of it. We're probably actually it's straight up cinema, but spelled with a fucking S for some reason. But yeah, basically what it is I think this is the MoviePass in the UK, and they're basically like, yeah, this is kind of popular here because the UK is like they have a different way they work movies because movies in the States are super popular. Like they are like one of the most popular places outside of China for movies. But the other places like Canada and all the other places like UK. It's not as big, but people still go see movies, so they can get away with having better deals, so they can get more people into the theaters.
And that's cool until you start looking at the fucking prices. Now the prices are ridiculous. For $4.99 a month on average, you can see 1 movie per month at any theater. For $6.99, you can see 2 movies per month. And by the way, they actually started this off by saying, "Oh, these can be repeated viewing," so you can repeat this movie.
That's pretty good. $4.99.
That's definitely a dig at the MoviePass. Because right now there's a lot of people going online and complaining about the fact they can't go see Avengers more than once.
Yeah, but $4.99 for let's say you're like I don't know, Ganja probably only sees like 1 or 2 movies a month. If he says I pay $5 and it's like the 1 or 2 movies I have to see because of shows or whatever, he could easily be like, yeah, I'll only pay $5. That's a really good fucking deal.
Yeah, no, exactly. Or to an extent, I don't know. That's still kind of bothersome to me because a ticket for me costs $9. But then, yeah, I don't know. I guess it makes sense. But looking at this other stuff too, it says for $9.99 a month, which is the same as MoviePass.
Sure.
The 2-movie plan expands to 3D, 4D, and IMAX formats.
Whoa, that's really good too.
Are you fucking wait? I'm surprised.
IMAX
right
tickets?
now, yeah, not only that, because my MoviePass doesn't cover IMAX, does it?
I don't know if it does, but I know, like, let's say you didn't have MoviePass or anything. IMAX tickets, at least where I come from, are about upwards of $15.
Okay.
Like, let's say because I do want to see Infinity War in IMAX because it was filmed there, so I want to see if it looks better or whatever. If there's a situation where it's like, oh man, I only got to pay like $10 for normally a $15-16 ticket, sure, fuck it, I'll do it.
I'm honestly, people, like, I thought I had like an idea plan in my head where we all shit on this. I don't know what the fuck is in the water, but Ganja and Alan agree, which is scary, first of all, and then they're actually okay with this horrible fucking plan. Like, I'm...
Oh, no, I think it's fucking bullshit. And with MoviePass right now collapsing on itself because the fan base is pissed that they don't offer movies for, like, primetime movies that are out to go see multiple times. I just think it's just another one of those competition things that are just going to make it better for the consumer in the sense that these companies are trying to make each other go bankrupt.
Well, again, you got to ask yourself, how many times are you going? Yeah, how many times are you going to see a movie a month? Are you like some people like Justin, Julian, Adri, where you're seeing like a movie a week almost? Then yeah, this obviously won't be for you. But I doubt there's a plan out there for you. But if you're like me, I honestly like this is the month of April. I've seen one movie this month, and I'm sorry, this is me. I'm probably only going to see Solo this month, maybe Deadpool. So if I only pay $10 to see both those movies, I'm saving myself $15.
You really are, and yeah, goddamn. I mean, I guess you won me over because I mean, but then again, it's like with AMC MoviePass, I'm not gonna go see IMAX. I'm not gonna go see 4D, 3D, whatever the fuck. I'm gonna just see the movie the way it is, and I can see both those movies and like 10 more if I wanted to. I mean, while I'm at the movie theaters, fuck it, I'll see everything. And I'll do that, and it's only $10. So it's like, I think AMC is winning in this sense. I do think that when you really think about it, unless you want to be extravagant and go see these huge fucking things at the IMAX, whatever, yeah, like, and plus too, like repeat viewings at movie theater. I mean, that's an additional trip to go see the same fucking movie, unless it's something like Avengers: Infinity War or Black Panther. I'm not going to the movie theater to see the same shit twice. That's too fucking long. Like, I'm not doing it.
I honestly think it depends, because one of the things, the reason I wouldn't even get MoviePass even if it was available is because it's like every day they're changing their policy on something.
Yeah,
it's like, we're not accepting it. We can only see it once. We're going to shoot you if you try to use this. This, so far, doesn't seem to have any controversy, so I'm more likely to give my money to this if it came to my city than MoviePass.
Exactly. So it is what it is with that. And I was going to ask you guys too, and you probably don't have anything because this is a big fucking question. But like, if you had a company, or you were given a company and a shitload of money to try to compete with AMC MoviePass, what would you do? Is there anything you think you would?
100% easy fucking answer. And I'll use this from an example of what I do. Is humblebundle.com. I love this fucking place. It is where I buy almost all my games now. I sign up for this thing called Humble Monthly, and it costs about $11 plus tax a month. And what it is I get a bunch of free, every single month I get free movies. Oh, sorry, free games. Mm-hmm. The thing is, what it does, and the reason I shop at Humble Bundle all the time is because it gives me 10% off the entire store. If the game just came out, 10% off. If there's already a deal where it's like 80% off, it's 90% off now. So it now means that when I buy my games, like brand new games, exclusively there, because it's a little bit cheaper. So if I was making a MoviePass, what I would say is like, okay, you get, I don't know about the free movies per se, but you get a discount like 20% off any movie. Like you watch many times, you get 20% off movies and concessions. So if you're going there, so instead of it saying like, oh, you get to see a free movie, like your movie ticket is like $15 plus another 10 for whatever, that gets 20% off. So it's cheaper for you to actually get everything, as opposed to, and then maybe like once a month or twice a month you get a free movie of your choice or whatever. So to incentivize using it.
That actually does make sense. And Humble Bundle, man, I fucked up the wrong thing there. Humble Bundle's actually been working great with their whole system. They're just whooping ass constantly. I don't think they have any issues at all. Ganja, is there anything that you feel like you would do to kind of oppose the big and bad AMC MoviePass?
No, I'd just buy my own ticket separately. Like, honestly, I don't really go to the movies that often unless it's like something big that we're all going to review on the show, or something that's really trending and I like. Or, for example, like the Young Karl Marx came out and The Darkest Hour. Those are my niche films that I would like to go see. And I did go to the theaters to go watch them. But besides that, I have no real interest to be at the theaters.
Okay. And Mr. Justin Zarian's in the house. What's up, man?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
No, I'm sorry.
I already joked on other podcasts how I have a super white guy voice, so I've accepted that.
Yeah, no, you do.
Oh, trust me, they'll tell it to you whether you accept it or not.
Exactly. But you
that sounds like a good deal, Alan. Just listening to the thing you talk about. Like, yeah, I remember hearing about Humble Bundle a long ago, but I didn't know people actually still shop with that stuff. So that's really cool.
Exactly. Yeah, but I mean, for you, this whole idea with cinema, I'm just gonna call them cinema because I'm not gonna try to say their weird fucking name. But do you feel like they have a good system out here, though? Is this something that you would see yourself getting instead of AMC MoviePass, or are you kind of like, nah, AMC got it down pat?
I don't use any subscription fees for theaters. I just do it the old-fashioned way, so it doesn't really affect me a whole lot. But I don't really know much about this system other than the stuff that you guys said. So maybe I still have never bought a MoviePass, so it's just a matter of I'd have to do some more research on it. But if it turned out to be a better deal, then sure, maybe.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, I'm gonna be moving on here, and
I'm
this one's
sorry, I didn't have much to contribute.
Oh no, it's all good. I just want to get your opinion on that really quick. But no, we'll make this one really short, because we're about to go into one of our longest fucking flex and chills in a very long
You
time.
damn right.
Good lord, I'm actually scared about flex and chills. I don't want to talk about movies that fucking long.
Well, then don't. Just be short.
But anyways,
It's short.
Xbox One's compatibility logs over 1 billion hours of playtime. So I wish Ellie was here so I can throw it in her face saying people do play classic fucking gaming, and just because she don't like the goddamn graphics, it's still amazing. Now, not much to say. That's the story. The end. Once again, one of those types of stories. But
I'm mad about this photo, man, because it has Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts and Perfect Dark Zero. Ain't no one playing those fucking games.
well, you might be surprised.
Yeah, you will be.
I mean, unless they have the rare replay, which they have those games available.
What a waste of fucking time and money that game, that fucking thing is.
But
all I know is they haven't added Conkers yet, so fuck them.
They did. It was probably in the rare replay thing.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was.
Probably.
Yeah, I think. Well, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, Ruthless, what's up, man?
What's going on, y'all?
Hey,
It's the
boy in the
wrath
house.
of Ruthless, everybody.
The guy who hates musicals.
I don't hate all
can you blame
musicals. I'm talking about musical films, and most of them suck.
Again, this is
Hey, I'm with them, man.
you guys are both wrong.
Yeah, you're right. High School
No.
Musical is a treasure.
See, that's what I'm talking about. The
not
a lot of musicals are good. A lot of on-stage musicals are amazing, but film-wise, most musicals suck. Not all.
West Side
not
Story.
even.
Sound
Not
of
even
Music.
75%. I would say are garbage. I put like 65% of musicals suck.
I will say the only
Film
one that's
wise.
good is Nightmare Before Christmas and fucking.
That is
Greatest Showman.
terrible.
I'm
Greatest
gonna fucking
Showman is
choke
great.
you, Alan, if we bring up this
Oh,
Nightmare
fuck.
Before
I'm
Christmas
ready,
shit.
bitch.
God damn it!
You lost your childhood. You lost your childhood innocence. Don't make us all lose it.
Motherfucker, cover the guy that keeps telling me to lose my childhood innocence. Right. Mr. Cynical over here is gonna fucking tell me.
I didn't say shit.
Julian in the chat saying Ganja, they did bring back Conker's Live and Reloaded, so I don't know.
He
about
means
that.
the original.
Ooh.
No, there was that. Yeah, that was a redo of the
Okay,
original.
so it looks like motherfuckers gonna have to buy an Xbox now.
Yeah.
Wait, why is this?
Wait. Why
I
buy an
love
Xbox?
Conkers.
It's just on PC.
Wait,
It might as well be on PC. Just keep your PC. You'll be fine.
thank
Oh,
you,
emulate.
thank you, crossplay.
Yeah. Well, hey, the smartest thing Microsoft ever did was basically make it so that they don't have to necessarily want to compete. Because I think some of this stuff for backwards compatibility, to a certain degree, is a part of the PC. Because I actually did get the Xbox, what's it called, Xbox Game Pass or something.
Yeah.
And
I
it
got
gave
that
me
too. Yeah.
it gave me access to that. That's actually how I played and beat Gears of War. And I did it before the 2-week trial ended, so I never paid for it, But if you wanted to pay the $10 or $15 a month it is, you get access to a bunch of these games. So I'm not surprised it clocked in 1 billion hours. Because there's people that have PCs that don't want to buy an Xbox One. There are people that have Xbox One that are basically swimming this going like, yeah, there's a bunch of games I never got a chance to try on Xbox, 360, Xbox One, or the original Xbox and Xbox 360. Why don't I try this out? I know Jordan posted on there. It's like, hey, I'm good with, I could save up for the other games now because I have something to bide my time. I honestly think, like, if I were to compare this to PlayStation Now, I wish I had this over PlayStation Now.
Yeah, I actually
Okay.
love PlayStation Now, but that's just me. What are you saying, Ruthless?
Well, there's one problem with that. If Microsoft was really smart, what they would do is go ahead and take the same software that they use to emulate the 360 and put it on PC, and literally everybody who has a PC would be able to play the 360 games and original Xbox games, and you would have something to do that you can't get from Steam, you can't get from GOG, you can't get from EA with Origin.
Yeah.
If they did that, then I would be like, all right, I get the point in backing Microsoft continuing to make games. But at this point, when your biggest releases are guaranteed to come out on PC and Xbox, why buy an Xbox? The free game a month, the possibility of playing those old games, just buy a 360 for $20 with a ton of controllers, and you get the same experience.
Yeah, no,
I'm sure it's a money reason though. So.
Well, yeah. Again, it's whatever you want to do. Because like if you buy an Xbox One right now, it's like you get the live free games and whatever the new stuff coming out is. So it's like you'll always find a reason to buy a system over another. But as far as this particular thing, it's like I think this is the smartest when it comes to PlayStation Now. Because I know Nick likes it probably because there's more games. The one thing I don't like about it is I don't like game streaming because I don't have the fastest internet and it takes so much. It takes almost your entire bandwidth. So it's like I can't play anything. But with this, it's like all you have to do is download it, and it's almost like Netflix, where it's like I can download the game, keep it on my PC, and play it as long as I want. And then if I don't feel like paying for it, I don't pay for it anymore.
I got a question as somebody who's very interested. In other words, like sign up right now. Like, How do you go about getting it? Like, is it something that if you have like a Microsoft account already, for example, like on the Xbox 360 or for the Microsoft in general, do you just add it onto the original account?
I think either you go to the Windows Store or you go to the Microsoft.com or Microsoft Store or some sort of Xbox Store on the actual browser.
Yeah, because you can do this on Windows 10. I mean, that's what I did. So.
Yeah, it's very limited though. So obviously, if you have an Xbox One, that's where you're gonna get everything. But if you're on PC, you get. I'd say I have no idea, but I think it tells you what games are under Game Pass, like on PC.
Yeah.
So you'll know before walking in.
Google, ladies and gentlemen, it is your friend.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly.
Google will own the world someday, but it's a great search engine.
Man, when the Google versus Disney war happens, man.
Nationalize it. That's in my throat.
See, now there's the real question. Is it going to be Google versus Disney, or is Facebook going to buy Google?
That's what the war's over. It's the Holy Land of Facebook.
Oh, it's the fight. It's the Facebook Wars? It's the Facebook Wars. I like it.
Good Lord.
I'll choose MySpace.
I feel like Facebook... Man, MySpace...
Power armor?
MySpace is already gone.
MySpace is the Dutch or the Belgian of the World War II.
Franz Ferdinand. He was the first one killed. It sparked the war off.
Yeah, basically. Good Lord. But no,
hey, Tom got his 10 million and he dipped. He's like, I'm out.
That's a lot of money, man.
I see where this shit is headed. Good luck, Facebook.
Yeah.
Basically. But no, man. Like, so one question I was gonna ask you about this, because I'm actually surprised we got as much as we did out of this fucking topic in the first place. But for me, it's like when I went into this, I was thinking right away, like, okay, what are some games that I always go back? Like, what system did I always log the most hours into after it's already been after it was new? And for me, it's always been PS1. PS1 with Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Silent Hill, etc. I always go back to those games and I play the fuck out of them. But, like, I'm going to go around the whole table here because I'm pretty sure we're all gamers to an extent. Ruthless, Justin, Ganja, all of us.
Oh, I'm a head gamer. I beat Superman 64 and I beat Alan at a game quiz.
Oh, my God. The biggest mistake in the video gaming show was getting this motherfucker to play Superman 64. He won't let it go ever.
Yo, if y'all watch the Untitled Video Game Show every Friday at 7:30 CST time, you might watch me beat some unbeatable games, unlike Alan's whack ass.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
You know, I honestly don't watch it. I host the show. Don't watch it.
Ganja, why you do this to him on the day that he had a baby? Like, you're fucked up.
He didn't have a baby.
It's a bird baby.
So I have to kiss the ring, Alan?
Yeah, when I punch you in the face.
But actually,
I'll make a nice imprint.
Before you punch anybody, though, like, what is it constantly you always go back and log the most hours into, like, in a retro sense?
In a retro sense, it would probably be the N64, Project 64 emulator. I mean, actual 64 console, yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, as a kid before, like I always had a console, always had the current generation console, but then I always had a PC that I slowly built. And one of the things I used to love playing was a Smash Bros. The 64 version, because I never really had many friends to play with, so I just kind of practiced the character myself, you know, just playing on the computer. And I would always play Smash Bros. Like I'd be like, I'm gonna spend an hour just playing, you know, against computers, just trying to get better and better with the character. So to me, it's like, yeah, the N64 is probably the system I clocked in the most with, Smash Retro.
Yeah. But yeah, how about you, Mr. Ganja Guru?
Me, I always go back to either the PlayStation 1 when it comes to the original Resident Evil series, like Resident Evil 1 or 2. Sometimes I'll play the GameCube version because it comes off with the hacks automatically that you don't have to go and do a whole action replay and all that bullshit and fuck with emulator settings. But when it comes to like games that I always come back to, hell, I even had Alan help me procure this certain game through means that we are not going to talk about, but it's called The Movies. And it's a Lionhead game, and basically what you do is...
that one.
Yeah, I fucking love this game.
R.I.P. Lionhead.
Yeah, well, they only had two good series, so not too much of hard RIP, but...
No. They only had two good games.
That's why I said it's not too much of a hard RIP. They tried their best, but they got. But the fact that I always want to go back to the movies, go back and create my own little action films or my own zombie films, and just play the storyline and try to be the best like movie studio out there. Basically, come the Disney of the fucking video game company, or go back and like try to play either an evil or a good or a neutral god in the Black and White 2 series, because that was also my thing that I always go back to. Which is the next one I'm gonna have. Alan help me search in the Cave of Wonders to find.
Yeah, you know, it's always funny with the movies that you can never be sure how they judge a good movie in that game because their metrics are like, oh, this is good acting or bad acting because it's all Simlish stuff. You're like, okay, sure, I'll go.
So they're movie snobs?
Oh,
pretty much. Yeah, like you're pretty much taking people's words for it at that point when it comes to the reviews. What I find, like Justin, if you still play it, what I find is try to stack as much of the best actors for the roles, and you tend to get the best reviews.
Yep.
Yeah, man. But no, like, Justin, I'm actually gonna ask you, since you were talking too, like, what are some consoles that you go back to in a retro sense that you log the most hours into?
You know, it's hard to say because I don't really do a lot of retro in other consoles. If anything, the PC is my retro thing because my Steam library, and I have a lot of games that I buy long after the fact. Because even one of my biggest early like kind of retro experiences was playing StarCraft way after its heyday. Because I joined in late. You know, I wasn't allowed to play that when I was a kid. But growing up afterwards, I just binged through StarCraft like crazy, and I still come back to it every now and then. So it's just, I would say PC is probably the one I depend on the most.
Okay,
retro.
yeah.
Nice.
You, Ruthless, how about you, man?
Okay, let me split this up. My favorite to go back to, and the one I go back to the most. The favorite to go back to are all Dreamcast games. Power Stone, original Soul Calibur. Weird things like Sega GT, the Sega's version of like Gran Turismo was actually really good. Let you build engines, let you build a car in the game as part of the game. Trick Style, which is probably my favorite skate-based game at all, like ever. Like, you know, the Wipeout that was on there, like that's probably my favorite to go back to, even though it's not really the one I go back to the most often. Honestly, I go back and play a lot of PS2 stuff. I love Ace Combat. That's on that. All the good ones are on that system. There's a lot of PS2 games that I still have, like a booklet full of my old PS2 discs.
Nice.
That I go back and play a lot of those. I have a couple of other retro consoles. Like I do play some SNES stuff because I've said before, Chrono Trigger is probably my favorite. Probably once every couple of years, I go back and replay that and Breath of Fire too. But yeah, I mean, like Justin, I do a lot of like older PC games. So I've got StarCraft, I've got old school Diablo 2, and the original Diablo as well. I've got a lot of like I have Wing Commander and Iceman from Sierra. Like there's a lot of I got into Abandonware at one point, so I had like a bunch of like really old games that the companies didn't exist anymore, kind of things. And so I've got a bunch of those kind of games as well. So that's like Alpha Centauri is probably one of my favorite 4X games. I go back and play that fairly often as well too. Love it.
Yeah. By the way, just random thought. I'm looking over here as I'm like looking up stuff to put up while you guys are talking about these particular consoles. Man, I guess people love putting up videos of top 100 games in 10 minutes, and you just put a bunch of random games up there. Who the fuck has the goddamn time? Like, yo.
Well, you saw what I did yesterday for the game show. They literally made a list of all the games that came out for Star Wars ever.
Jesus Christ! Every one of these are top 100 PS2 games. Like, no, buddy. Like that's a lot of fucking work. Jesus Christ!
That's time and patience.
Okay,
Time, patience, opinion, and just make shit up.
I guess so, yeah. But no, that's really cool though. Yeah, and like I said, like man, just this talk alone wants to go back and play a bunch of old games, and I don't even mean that in the sense of like going on one of those newer consoles and going, you know, do their virtual console, whatever the fuck. Like I want to play like the actual shit with the controller and everything.
I still have my Dreamcast. It's still in my house right now. Like I can go play Sega Tennis like right now.
Yeah, I'm too busy playing God of War. I don't have time for retro.
The game is great.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you know what we
Dad
do?
of boy.
Well, Justin and I had time for retro, but you know what we did have time for? We had time for your interruptions. No, we had time for Flex and Chill. I want to get the show over with. Man,
Time for boy.
I am not looking forward to how long this shit's going to fucking be. God damn it. Now, Alan,
I love it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be fun for the whole family.
It probably won't be. So here's the thing, folks. The reason why I don't really like this stuff, especially with this boy, Nicole, Mr. Justin Zarian, because we always argue. We argue a lot. Boy. Oh, by the way, poor BBM, he's saying, I was late to the show. I'm not going to be social no more. Nah, be social and then watch us in the archive.
Oh, don't worry. You're just in time for Flex and Chill.
Yeah, exactly. I know, we're going to be antisocial as fuck in a couple of minutes. We're going to be yelling at each other. Because there's so many movies we're going to be doing. I don't know where to start. Well, we'll start.
Well, I'll just say this too. I've only seen I saw in the list here of the ones you listed here. I've only seen one of those movies, so I'll be quiet for a lot of it.
Okay, great. Even though you probably won't, but it's okay. Because one thing I do want you to bring up really quick, and this is something you did watch, and this is kind of one of the biggest reasons why I had you on too. But man, that Cobra Kai, yes,
yeah,
yes,
It is good.
Yo,
That
can
was
you
really good.
believe that YouTube Red gave us a great fucking show?
I can't believe that they got something good out of Karate Kid. I love that movie as a kid, but I'm like, yeah, you're good for one. How'd you make a fucking like 5-hour TV series out of this?
They
did.
Now,
Yeah.
here's the thing, Justin. Do you know a lot about what YouTube Red's been doing? Because I actually have not known like what their landscape has been for movies.
Well, yeah, so they don't do a lot of TV shows. They're still trying to get into the game. Their last big launch, I believe, was that Step Up TV series they did, the High Water. Yeah, it was okay. I saw a little bit of it. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But this is really their big, like, this is the high-profile project we're going to launch ourselves with. And, I mean, for people who aren't familiar with it, basically it's a show set 30 years after Karate Kid. I assume 2 and 3 are canon in this one, but not the Hilary Swank one. So, whatever.
That's good.
Yeah, no, very good. But yeah, so it's a show that's putting the perspective on both William Zabka as Johnny and Daniel Russo, played by Ralph Macchio, where Johnny is trying to resurrect the Cobra Kai to get his life back in order and that such, and Daniel's like, oh well, that ain't happening in my neighborhood because I know what kind of bully to create.
in the form of non-flashbacks.
Yeah.
Which that's the funny thing is that a lot of the great stuff about this is one. It's clearly made by people who love this TV show. I mean, love the movies. They clearly love these characters. They respect it, but they also say, okay, it's been 30 years. What's changed? And two, the greatest thing about this show, because I know Julian's wanting us to sell this, like, why should I care about this show? I'm not interested. It's pretty much Karate Kid and Warrior. It's the idea that they make a show where you really like every character, even Johnny, Daniel, the new kids, their families. You care about what happens to all these people to the point where when it gets to the end, which it's going to set up for a big tournament and that kind of such, you don't know who you want to win. You're really conflicted. You're like, well, if this guy's win, that'll be good, but if this guy wins, that'd be good too.
Yeah, and it makes it surprising because you're not sure who's going to win because you nailed it with the whole Warrior and Karate Kid. But to sell it to people that haven't seen it, because Nick hasn't seen it either, so he'll be able to talk more about this. But
I thought Mickey saw it.
No, sorry, you didn't see Karate Kid.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't need to watch Karate Kid because to me it's like I watched it, but I watched it when I was a kid, so I'm like I don't really remember this movie a lot. But it doesn't have the flashbacks, it doesn't have the callbacks, so you remember what's going on. But it's not one of those things where it implies you watched it; it implies you don't remember it because it's like, which is great because it gives you enough reminders where it's like, oh yeah, remember this. Oh, by the way, we're setting up our own plot. Like to me, in my head, like usually I start off with negatives. I honestly would have to rack my brain and be like, what don't I like about the show? There's only maybe like I can count on my hands the amount of things I don't like, and it's very little. Him making him making his dojo, I feel like he goes from my life's falling apart to I'm gonna start a dojo just for no reason.
Like it's half
and also
easy.
yeah, but it's like I felt like it was a quick jump, and also Daniel Russo's son is barely in the show to the extent where they forget about him constantly.
I don't know how you develop an opinion on this little motherfucker because little Ganjo over here is like half in it, like 5 seconds, and just talking shit throughout the movie to the point that I'm like, are you the adopted kid?
Because they don't talk about it. Like there's pictures around the house. You never see pictures of the kid. At one point, he's like the Daniel Russo's like, oh, I'm gonna train. This guy. He's gonna be like he almost like treats him like he's gonna be my son. And we're like, yeah, we're basically making fun of him, going, yeah, you're like the son I never had. Like,
my favorite reminds me of the fat son from Grand Theft Auto that Michael ignores because he's trying to, he hangs out with Franklin more often. Cause
it's almost like that.
It is. Michael's son actually drives some plots forward a little bit. In the terms of like the boat getting stolen, this kid does fucking nothing. He doesn't help the plot. He doesn't hinder the plot. He don't help develop character motivation. Like it was a point that they were at the final competition, and Daniel Russo is cheering off for one of the characters that he like puts under his wing, and he's like, "Yeah, man, nice." He's sitting next to his son, cheering on this other male character like it's his son. Sits down. I was joking with Nine. I was like, "Hey, you're here too, brother."
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, it's so little that character's in the show that Nick is playing like he usually plays his trailers. You can't find him in the trailers.
Yeah, no, I'm actually looking for it right now. But
to be fair, every time they show that son, he does something crappy to them where it's like, you know what, I'm kind of fine with them not showing him because it's like, yeah, he's a brat. He's like, yo, go get me a soda, Dad. I'm playing my video game.
Dude, they could have really made a difference. But that's like the only real negatives about the show. But like as far as the rest of the show, I fucking love the show because we watched almost the entire thing in one sitting. And then one thing I loved about the show is
it's fast.
It's very fast because again, 30 minutes. I think it's perfect for this. It's like, yeah, you watch it, you're done.
This is what fucking Netflix has to do. Those Marvel shows, goddammit.
I kind of agree. Reduce them. But one of the things I love the show, and the reason I kept watching it is it does what I love. It's like it takes the lessons that the 80s film taught you, confidence and discipline, and not so much as, well, you kids don't know anything nowadays. Back when I was a kid, everything was great. It's like, no. The show almost plays like an anti-bullying thing of like some of these lessons that were taught to, the 80s and 90s kids are still relevant today, even though that bullying has changed, the way school system and the way people treat each other. There's similarities, but a lot of stuff's changed. But what doesn't change?
I love the one character, like, because one of the biggest things he says is like, all that online shit is for pussies, and I agree with that. I agree with that sentiment because one of the characters is being online bullied, and she has enough of it, so she walks up to the chick, and I've never seen this done in movies. This might be a little bit of spoiler. I don't give a fuck. Y'all need to hear about this. She gives this bitch a clit wedgie. I've never seen that shit before in my life.
Yeah, like again, all that kind of stuff, because it kind of shows, like, yeah, even it doesn't matter what century you're in, doesn't matter what kind of kids you are, because it doesn't talk down to kids. It shows that even though that the problems aren't the same as they were, they're not running up to you and punching you in the face. It could still hurt. It could still, drive you down. But you have to take what's negative about you and try to flip it. Because one of the favorite characters in the show is Hawk, and it's like he's almost shitting on the entire time. Yeah, because he goes from this, like, it's a 180 switch, but when it happens, we're cheering on for him because he goes with it.
He was my favorite character until he took that shit too far.
Yeah, he takes a little too far, but, like, I love that kind of thing because it shows it's like, it doesn't matter, it's not talking down to kids. It's showing kids, like, if you have discipline and confidence, you'll get more out of life than if you're just going to give up and be like, whatever, that's how life is. I guess I'll just be the
character that is just like this cynical ass, like one of these cynical asshole friends that he doesn't do anything, he just talks shit, but he wonders why his life sucks. And like the whole point is like proving to him, like, no, man, I'm not just pretending to be someone else. I'm just trying to become who I feel inside. And that's all you got to do. Now, he takes that to a 10th degree, and I'm hoping now with the second season introduction of some other characters now at the finale that they're going to touch on that now. That, yeah, it's a good message, but when you start taking that to that umph level or that 10th degree, then you start becoming just another asshole.
Yeah, because you kind of start seeing that with, Johnny Lawrence type character where he's realizing, oh, as much as, these are the lessons that I taught, it's like they're becoming a version of me where they're taking it too far. So I think the next season is like he's going to start backing it out, and it showed the growth of these characters, and I really enjoyed that because you got to know everybody in this place. You got to know the main character, you got to know every single, because they almost give an episode to every character at one point. Yeah. And the best part about this is it's a show, it's called, well, it's not called Karate Kid, but it's based on the Karate Kid movie. The fight scenes in the show are great. There's maybe 3, but they're fucking amazing.
Yeah, I love. I was watching this,
but they're both choreographed.
Okay. No, I was going to say, because I was watching this with our old co-host 90s, and at one point there was an episode where the guy is just getting belligerently drunk. This is like a mixture of the Karate Kid with fucking Bad News Bears. and this dude is just getting like shit-faced, and the kid happens to walk out of the liquor store and sees him. He's like, "We're all gonna fucking die, man!" He throws the beer and pisses on his car, and 90s is like, "Yo, man, this is like if you own a karate store."
Oh man.
Yeah, I gotta say too, I really liked a lot of the young actors in this, especially the 3 main guys. So there was Mary Mouser as Daniel's daughter, who I liked a lot, and then Zolo Meriduena, who's the main Miguel character, which I like. Yeah. Actually, the guy who I did not expect to be like my favorite character in the show, Johnny's son, Robbie.
Oh yeah.
Which that's so great because they totally do a 180 where they're like, oh, he's just a douchebag character. He's like, I hate you, Dad. I'm not going to school. I'm going to steal things from people. And then they're like, oh, no. He's another Karate Kid. Like, he finds, like, purpose by being involved with Daniel's life.
Yeah, and the thing about the show is we're making the whole thing, it's basically kind of an anti-bullying, step up, be confident, get discipline, and get your life. This is also a kaleidoscope of terrible parenting all around. Yeah. Every single parent in this show is terrible, but in a completely different way.
Johnny Lawrence is a little better.
Yeah,
no, John, but I just want to add to that point, Alec, because like you're saying, it's a kaleidoscope of shitty parents. I think it goes deeper than that. It shows that how a lot of these like people's past baggage affects the future generation, and it's done in a great fucking way that it's just not like stereotypical asshole parent shit.
Yeah, but
it's an indictment of everything that's done in those '80s movies of like, hey, you can be you are the hero of the story kind of setup that all those '80s movies get. So those parents became, well, yeah, I'm important, so my kid is going to be a shitty kid because I didn't get that early lesson. Like the whole point of Karate Kid was that was a generation that was being raised by kids from the '70s who were different in their thinking. So you got '80s movies. An '80s kid is going to teach their kid the kinds of lessons you get in this show, and that's why they're quote unquote shitty parents.
Yeah, but no, it's like also where, when I said a kaleidoscope of stuff, it's like you have Johnny Lawrence's character, Cobra Kai character. He straight up abandoned his kid. Like he left because he couldn't deal with the responsibility. So you have the abandonment, the shitty parent. But then you have the mom of the kid, Robbie, and she's like, well, I'm there and I'm paying, bills and I'm taking care of you, but honestly, I couldn't give a shit less if you're here or not. You have that kind of parent, the absentee parent. Then you have, Russo, where he's like the over-involved shitty parent, where it's like you are so involved into your kid's life, you're essentially just ruining it. So it kind of shows it's like, it's something, again, Old Coast 90 says, like, you'll always find a way. There's no perfect way to parent. You're always going to find a way to mess up your kid in some way. But it kind of shows where it's like consistency and being there is the most important thing. Be there for a kid. That's the most important lesson.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, too, with the writing of this show, for as nuanced and smart and clever as it is, which it really is. I mean, my only major complaint I had with it was some contrivances they have in the penultimate episode of the, you didn't tell me this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Surprising the most when I looked at the writers who were involved with this. You know what they wrote before this?
Oh, no, don't tell me.
I'm so curious. What?
I'm really curious.
Harold and Kumar and the Hot Tub Time Machine movies.
Oh, Lord.
Okay,
You know
actually,
what?
that's good.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I can see some of it with the adult characters, but I can't see how they managed to get the young characters to be as smart as they are.
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna defend Hot Tub Time Machine. A lot of
Me
people
too.
don't like to. I love the fuck out of that movie because it's one of those movies that are based in nostalgia, but it's constantly shitting on these people that are like in their. I think they were like 30s and 40s at the time, and it was like right at the time, like at the end of 80s nostalgia, and now we're on 90s. And one of the things that I like about Hot Tub Time Machine is a lot of people remember their golden age, but as they're relieving it, they're realizing how much assholes they were as people. And they kind of continue that with the Karate Kid as like, hold on, you may have thought you were like the great kid of the story, you were the hero and whatnot, but like if you look at it from a different perspective as a different person, you were a fucking dick. And that was kind of what they were establishing with Hot Tub Time Machine, especially with the one main party character that remembers his youth as just like being the most biggest asshole and getting all the chicks. And he just looks back and he's like, no, you weren't that fucking great back then either, sir. You kind of always sucked in your life. And they kind of, it's a good way to be like, hey, nostalgia's good and we all remember our fun times, but don't get blinded by it and start like sucking your own dick at the thought of like, oh, I was the best part. And you're damn right, BBM, Hot Time Machine 2 was a mistake.
Yeah, and by the way, too, with Cobra Kai, they do what you just said, too. Your main character, it doesn't end up like the way you think it is. They do something, and that's actually what I consider it's a bad thing, but at the same time, even though I don't like the ending of this particular show, I do say that at least it's something that was fucking realistic. I mean, this did stick to something. It stuck to its own guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that ending I think is one of the best parts of the show, actually, except for the cameo that comes at the very end. But
what the fuck was that? That was like fucking the best way to describe this without spoiling it and no context. It's the end of Iron Man 1.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was even cartoonier.
So you think you're the only karate master here?
Here's the real question. This success, does it mean we're actually going to get Saved by the Bell the adult years?
I hope not. Don't you wish that evil on us?
Look, Alan, it's not my fault if it happens. They've already started doing those Facebook videos of Zach Morris's trash. Like,
I blame you.
I know it's coming. You know it's coming.
I'll blame you if that happens.
Only they realized that Zach Morris ruined all their lives. And it's like it's a one season off of just shitting on Zach Morris.
But one thing I will say, really quick, because we are going to end this off because there's so many things to talk about tonight. I will say, and you guys can sum up with the last things you want to say, but I'll go ahead and go first in the sense of like, yeah, for this show, I know it's technically free if you have YouTube Red, so it's like obviously you can't go higher than the streaming, and people keep getting confused by that. But if you don't have YouTube Red, it's worth buying a YouTube Red, or at least getting a trial to YouTube Red to watch this. So I've given this a buy it. There's things wrong with it, sure. The acting's not the best ever. Yes, there's not a whole lot of fight scenes, but they earn the fight scenes. They earn a lot of the stuff they do. They build up like significantly, and you don't feel let down. I fucking love this show, and I was so not hyped for this. I was like, oh, you watch Cobra Kai? Okay, I guess. Man.
I felt the same way.
Yeah, so buy it for me.
Like, you want to watch it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but Alan, how about you, man? Rating wise, like
honestly, 100%. Like, if you don't have a YouTube Red subscription, I recommend. Like, apparently the first 2 episodes are free or something. Watch those because I was hooked by the first episode. I was like, I could definitely see myself watching this. But yeah, this is the highest rating you can get. Definitely a buy. Where it's like I didn't like to me. I always say this, like, you don't have to have all of the fight scenes all the time, but if you're going to have a fight scene, make it cool. And from the first fight scene you see, I was like, okay, they know what they're fucking doing. Like, I was sold from the first fight scene. I'm like, and the fight scenes just get better and better as the show goes on. And it's like he says, it earns it. It's one of those things I love about the show is, like, there's a progression of every character. They grow as the series goes on. The first kid you see, he doesn't become a kickbox fighter after the first time. They even make a joke about that where he gets into a fight after learning like 2 moves and gets his ass handed to him. And the guy goes, yeah, I didn't teach you how to defend. He learns this shit, and I love that because you never see that in action movies or movies in general. You never see the slow progression from like I'm kind of new at this to I'm a badass, and they did it really well with a lot of montages. I almost want to see a Rocky a television show like this, where it's kind of like forget Creed 2, just do Creed 2 as a television show. But yeah, I definitely recommend go out and get a YouTube Red subscription. You'll definitely when you finish watching the show, you'll be like, I definitely earned this. Like this is definitely worth my money.
And no commercials, folks. Justin, what would you give this, man?
Oh, absolutely buy it. Again, my only two complaints of this whole show were that, one, there were the contrivances they set up with the whole, cliches that were even old in the 80s of the, I got a secret that I can't tell somebody because it's going to ruin everything. And sure enough, the way they come to the head is very obvious. And two, because it's a cheap series and it's made by the guys who do Harold and Kumar and Hot Tub Time Machine, it's not flashy or very well made. It's very flat. It's very standard TV level filmmaking. It's like first seasons of Community. But I will say this, that a show with really great writing can make up for any lack in technical craft for me. And, because I love these characters so much, I think the acting is really good across the board. I mean, freaking William Zabka and Ralph Macchio, they really brought it. They clearly, this wasn't just a check for them. Like, oh no, we're coming back.
Ralph Macchio's facial reactions every time he sees Cobra Kai, he revives. Oh my god, did you just review what was it called, Full Metal Jacket and shit? Because he's just looking into the distance every time he sees Dory Lawrence.
Dude, God is the funniest thing. It's like, man, the way he looks is like if I just drove by and saw a Nazi sign everywhere.
Yeah, so no, definitely buy it. And obviously it's not an actual buy, but go check out YouTube Red. You can watch the first 2 episodes for free to test it, and then subscribe for the trial. I think it's totally worth it. And like Alan said, you can sit through this in an evening. Just binge every episode in 4 hours or whatever. You're done.
You can easily watch it. It does not feel long.
I went to work so tired.
Oh, we almost finished it, except Gant had to go to work, and he's like, yo, one more episode. 6 more episodes later, 1 more episode. Got to the point where he stopped asking us, and he would just go next. It's like, man, you ain't slick. We know what you're doing.
Yeah, we benched the fuck out of that. But Ruthless, I didn't even ask how many episodes did you see of this, and you barely talked. So tell us what you think of the show, and what would your rating be?
I finished it as well. I finished it today, actually. I go with buy it as well. I think it's a month worth of YouTube Red at the worst. Just go watch it, and it's great. I had a good time. I watched it with a buddy of mine for the first couple episodes because we didn't know that you had to subscribe to get the rest of it.
Right.
Initially, a buddy of mine and I watched it, and we both liked it. We were laughing at some of the Karate Kid references. We won't give those up here, but they were all worth it. If you're an older viewer like myself, which is weird to say in this conversation, but whatever. Go watch it. You'll definitely laugh. They definitely make fun of a lot of 80s cliches that weren't even just in Karate Kid, just in general. Yeah. So as an 80s baby, I am definitely happy with it. Watch it. It's great. Buy it.
Contra, if you get this anything other than a buy it, I'm going to beat the fuck out of you.
No, I fucking buy it. Go out your way. I Ruthless put it the best. The worst you get is 10 months of YouTube Red free. That's at least
a month.
A month, not 10 months. My God. That's how high I am from this movie, y'all. But no, the worst you get is commercial break, no commercials with your music now. It's go get it. It's not going out too much out of your way to fucking watch it. And it's enjoyable as hell. You're gonna buy Netflix for one fucking Marvel series. Might as well just add another one onto your repertoire.
Yeah, exactly. And you get more shit that's not just TV shows. It's not just original content. You get a lot of things. And I mean, I
check out Game Theory. Tell him we sent y'all to us. So maybe he mirrors one of our videos.
Tell him he's overrated.
I love that.
Have your fucking mind now.
Now we're going to war with MoviePass. Is that what's going to happen now?
Yeah.
No. Hey man, if there's any YouTuber I had confidence that I could beat their ass in the streets, it would be MoviePass.
Dude, that guy works out, man.
Yeah,
he might look like
that's the model workout. He don't know how to throw hands.
Now, here's the thing, though.
Guys getting ass kicked out.
I say, Ganja, if you get your ass kicked by a model, we are never going to stop making fun of you. I want you.
I want you to know that. MoviePass, here's a game theory with you. The escalation of this fight. How does it end?
With you on the ground, bitch.
Now, Justin, when we talked about this and we showed it on the screen about the movies we're going to be doing tonight, which one did you say that you did watch?
I have seen Grease.
You have seen Grease. Okay.
I'm gonna get some popcorn. Ruthless, you want anything?
Together.
Yeah, I'll take a rum and coke.
You and
Like,
me
this
both.
is Grease, not Grease Live, right? Just to make sure I.
No,
make that
it's just
clear.
Grease.
Okay,
1970.
wait,
Okay.
we want a Broadway play.
Yeah, no. Man,
So, Nick, you're telling me you're never gonna go and make a car with me
I
called
will beat
MCA
the-
Lightning?
I'll beat the fuck out of you. I'll kill you. People,
You know
this
what?
fucking movie. What were you saying, Justin?
I'll say this. I know I disagreed with Ruthless that movie musicals can't be great. I kind of agree that this one's a little overrated.
Oh, yes! Thank
Did you just come?
I think I did.
I think you did. Folks, we're gonna take a break while Nick changes pants and cleans himself up.
I didn't know I had that kind of power on people.
I know, John
Wow.
Folks like, wait, you just came? What the fuck?
Here you go. Here you go, Nick.
John
I know
Bolton
I
wants
made
to
this
see, yeah.
joke last week, but here, clean up, brother. Clean up.
It's the same paper, too.
It's the same paper towel. I haven't used it yet.
I know.
Ow.
Gross. Oh man, no, people. I guess there's really not a whole lot to say in that sense too. I thought we were gonna have an argument, but the thing is like, God has seen this as well, and apparently you agree. I fucking hate this movie. Fucking, we were hanging out, all the MCA crew, and then Jet was in there chilling with us too and everything, and she was like, we should watch Grease. Oh, it's so fun. We're gonna have Diaz watch fucking Grease. Grease. I was like, I know this movie is not good. I know that she doesn't like this fucking thing, and I know that Allie doesn't actually like this fucking thing because she's like, oh yes, Grease, haha, Grease. It's fuck. So we watched the fucking thing, and by the way, they weren't even talking. They were just quiet. Every now and then I can hear them dancing to the fucking songs. But, like, they weren't enjoying this shit either. It's like, if you're into film or if you're into certain things and culture and everything, you have to be into this fucking movie. It's like a rule if you like film.
It was a big cultural point. Like, it was a huge hit on Broadway. It was a huge movie sensation because there was nothing like it when it came out in the theaters. And because this was past that heyday of like the 60s and 50s movie musicals. And this was an attempt to really get a big budget production. And John Travolta at that time, he was still hot. This was before his big decline in the 90s before Pulp.
Yeah.
But having said that, yeah, it's just the problem is I don't feel like it ages very well. I would say this, I don't hate it. I do think some of the music in here is legitimately great. Like there are some great numbers and songs throughout this thing.
Yeah, there's
I
cool
think
things that are catchy, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't care about the story. Like, it's a weird message. Like, if you slut yourself down, people might actually like you. That's kind of what the ultimate message was taken away from this.
God just supports this marriage since 2020.
But honestly, though, it feels like little kids wrote this shit. Like everyone acts in this movie like they're in elementary fucking school. Like every single fucking person. It's really fucking annoying. And like every time John Travolta it does this thing where he's trying to be cool, it's like, dude, I know, like, I guess when you laugh at something it's supposed to be good, and that's, by the way, I'm not gonna give this like a fuck it or whatever because there's a couple times where I fucking laugh, but it does get to a point where the movie's almost making fun of itself. John Travolta walks around acting cool, moving his fucking shoulders a certain way, doing the Negan lean the whole fucking time the movie's on.
Yeah, the jacket.
It came from him.
Yeah, it did actually. This is the reason why people making fun of Walking Dead. No, but
Jeffrey Dean Morgan's doing a John Travolta impersonation. That's
yeah. Jeffrey Dean Morgan does look a little bit like the son of Travolta in this movie. Like,
yeah,
hey, yeah, the jacket and everything, man.
think about it. Think about Negan. Think about it. Think about Danny in this movie.
He's old
Yeah.
enough.
yeah, basically.
Now I want to see Negan do a rendition of Summer Lovin' or Grease Lightning.
Summer loving.
Summer loving. Holy shit.
But let me say something controversial before you continue. Can you agree? Can we agree as a panel that this movie, Jet is Rizzo and Allie is Sandy? Can we agree on that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've not seen the movie, so y'all.
As part of this delegation, I second that.
I would not insult Jet by saying that she's Rezo at all, because Rezo can go fuck herself, run in front of a
Yo,
fucking
Nick,
moving
Nick, how'd you like that abortion stuff that they just dropped?
Oh,
Oh,
geez.
for no goddamn reason, by the way. Because abortion's
Oh,
funny, ladies
Lord.
and
You
gentlemen.
lost the baby? All right.
Oh,
Wait, seriously?
No,
Yeah.
it was that she wasn't actually pregnant. I think that was the thing.
Oh, I
So-
thought it was that she got an abortion.
Oh, that's the
No,
second
no, no,
time
no,
you do
that
this
was
all the
dilemma,
time,
is that
man.
She was thinking about getting an abortion because she was worried that she got pregnant, and then
Okay,
like,
'cause that's the
I
thing
wasn't
that
pregnant. No worries.
That's the thing that always threw me off. When she said no worry, I always thought it was implied that she got it.
Oh, by the way, too, Jet says that she's actually ended the movie Sandy, which, by the way, what the fuck happened with Sandy where she just ages by 50 fucking years in one frame? In the beginning of the movie, she is young and pretty and gorgeous.
It's
I'm
not
checking
that-
her out, I ain't lying.
Because that's makeup and how they do her hair.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
then,
no, exactly.
Then where
Like I
was
said,
that
the message
crew?
is if you slut yourself up, people will pay more attention to you. That's the message of the movie.
Wait, so her character in the movie got makeup done and had gray hair?
Yeah.
That better be it. Because they
I
didn't tell
mean,
you that
Olivia
shit.
Newton-John was not young when Grease came out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that point in the movie, it's just her looking more like she actually does.
Do you remember our joke about Dawson Creek and those CW shows always hiring people above the age of 25?
They didn't have gray hairs, though.
That happened back in the day more frequently, and a lot older people were playing younger roles.
Dr. Channing is in her like 30s when that movie comes out.
Yeah, John Travolta was he already had an Oscar nom. He was 30 by that point. He was old when he was in that movie.
Yeah, 30 years old. He was old.
And Jed's saying that the hair wasn't great. It was a light blonde, blonde hair and lighting. Still, no. When I looked at that shit, it looked great. And this was wrong with. And I'm sorry, but this is wrong with white people. Y'all gotta get darker hair. Like, it's so blonde, it's so yellow that it looks like you're losing your hair. I'm sorry, but this movie, it's not racist. If the bitch literally ages 30 years in fucking one frame.
Racism just got a point.
No, I hate this fucking movie. I hate that even now we're defending movies from back then. There's like, well, it's okay. Like with Star Wars: A New Hope, that's another thing I get mad about. When it's like, well, dude, you gotta think about all the shit they were going through. No wonder.
No, you're still wrong about that.
Well, when they actually called that fucking character Princess Leia, they call her Carrie on the fucking movie. Then they release it. Yeah, that's some bullshit. I'm sorry. I know it's hard to make a fucking movie, but that's why you don't make it unless you fucking are good at making movies. God damn it.
Okay, yeah, obviously to a certain degree, like when it comes to older movies, you can't sit there and do them to the standards of today because that's just not fair. But you also have to look at it, not so much give it excuses. You have to be like, okay, what did they do well? What did they actually make work? So I guess the question to both of y'all, what did they actually do well that's timeless in this movie?
Catchy songs.
Great choreography. Like there's catchy songs and some so.
Yeah.
I personally, what you guys, I don't think anyone in the panel is going to bring up here because I like calling a snap the panel now.
Yeah.
I'm ruthless.
The MCA panel.
Now, one of the things
BBM first call us that, by the way. BBM, we remember you, sir. We will give you that credit.
Yeah, because we were Monster Hunter.
Yeah, we just like, hey, just ask us any fucking questions, we'll answer them. That was the perfectly comedic questions again.
Exactly. No, but go ahead, Gandhi, you're making a point.
My point is, like, the thing is, like, a lot of the reason, like, this movie was such a big hit for its time and it got so people, like, loved into it. This is when, like, the nostalgia of the 50s and 60s was starting to happen with the baby boomer generation and, like, ruthless generation. So these people
Whoa, not my generation. Not my generation. I was born in 82. Don't give me that.
82. He's just right there by 3 years.
Right?
Right there by 3 years. And he's going to hold on to those 3 years like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, shit, dude. I was born in the 80s, not the 70s. Come on now.
Okay. People older than Rufus then. All right. That was part of their whole nostalgia trip about the 50s and 60s, kind of how we do with the 90s and 80s now currently. And it was one of those big movies with big production that it made people feel back in those times. It was one of those things that you could go see with your mom and dad or your grandparents and be like, yeah, that's kind of how it was in my time, besides the singing and dancing and all that fucking bullshit. Because people like to remember the most romanticized of their past. And this is kind of like the most romance stuff of the 50s. The malt liquor stuff is basically what they parody in Fallout now. And it's one of those
parody in Fallout.
This was stuff that they were echoing in Happy Days and American Graffiti. That was at the same time when those movies came out. And that was just, it was riding the wave off of that nostalgia. The people were looking at it with rose-tinted glasses. And it was only afterwards with, like, 80s and 90s stuff later, you're like, oh yeah, it wasn't all that great.
Yeah, wait 10 years when we say the same shit that the 90s was all right, kids. It was all right. You do not want to go back to the 90s.
People have been saying it sucked for the last decade, man.
The fact that me and Nick and Rufus had to go eat the shitty diner down the street.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and one thing to bring up really quick, and yeah, I know this is gonna be one of those things where it's like, okay, well, Nick is just talking from fucking him liking horror movies or whatever. But no, I do have to show y'all something that acting. I know we're defending that shit like, oh, it's back then, but like looking at this, Grease, 1978. Okay, let's look at other movies from 1978. Bam, Halloween. The Scream Queen, like Jamie Lee Curtis, like that's when that shit started. Where it was like she fucking just stole the fucking spotlight, and everybody was a great actor in those movies.
I think it's unfair to compare the two, honestly.
Okay, well then let me ask you about this. Even something as simple as Dawn of the Dead, where these people were not stars.
Trying to compare a catchy, dummy, some musical to horror movies.
But that's the thing. It's like the acting, because there's, I mean, even the cinematography too. And I'm not one to bring up shots in cinematography, but that shit was awful. It was so fucking cheap, even for then.
I think what it is the reason I think it's kind of unfair to compare these movies is because when it comes to like horror films and these more personalized stories, it's not doing this like whole ensemble cast thing. You're mostly focused on Jamie Lee Curtis and a few other side characters, such as the guy that's constantly in these horror movies. I forget his name. What's the doctor? No, the doctor.
Oh, Dr.
Oh God.
Bloom or Loom, whatever.
Nick knows the name. If y'all
Yeah,
stop
Dr.
interrupting him. Dr. Loomis. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's him and a few other characters that are kind of the main story drive and Jamie Lee Curtis. Besides that, there's really not much in terms of character development of the side characters that get killed. Whereas there is basic fucking character development besides Sandy and the fucking main character John Travolta. And the reason that is because it's based on a whole ensemble and a whole musical choreography, and you have to have a reason and justification to have all these characters sing and dance and be focused on for a second to get the musical numbers in. So they're completely different setups. They're completely different setups, and they're differently done in a way. It's kind of like trying to compare a documentary acting with the acting of these horror movies as well.
Yeah, if you want to
because
compare movies around that time, look at Drunken Master or what else came out that year? The Wiz comes out that year.
Rocky comes out 1 year later.
The Deer Hunter.
Yeah, Deer Hunter. Yeah.
Well, no, but like
or the big one, Superman. Yeah. Superman and Animal House are probably your best comparisons to Grease at that point.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like the reason I asked what was a good thing, and y'all both brought up, the choreography of the musicals, because this is a musical. That's the main point of this. Yes, there has to be acting in there because there has to be the in between of filler to get to the next song. But where they spent the money, where they spent the budget, where they put the most effort is to make sure that people can sing, dance, and go to a tune. That's the most important part. So if they don't nail that, then this is a effing fucking failure. But I look at something like La La Land. In direct comparison now,
so
that movie is bullshit when it's not singing and dancing.
No, no. Here's the thing. I disagree because at this point, and like I said, I haven't seen all of La La Land, but when you watch this, if you're in the mood to watch something like this movie actually does open the door and says, "Listen, we're not going to be so fucking ridiculous. We're actually put a lot of time and effort into our cinematography." And yes, I know people are going to say, "Well, this has a hell of a lot more resources than Grease did back then." But people are still saying Grease is better than fucking La La Land. I do not agree with that. I learned that within 10 minutes of watching fucking La La Land. And another one, the Blues Brothers. This came out 2 years afterwards, and I don't even like this. To an extent, it's a musical, the blues and everything.
Blues Brothers is a musical. That definitely counts as a musical.
Yeah.
There's music. Yeah, that's hard. That's a hard.
The music is part of the plot. Sometimes the music takes you out of the actual scene.
Is Oh Brother Where Art Thou a musical or?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not doing a musical night, by the way. No musical
we're never
party
doing
ever.
A musical night. Fuck that shit.
Never.
No, screw you. Override. I want that.
Literally over my dead body.
I will make that happen.
Okay, then that's the only way it's gonna happen.
He knows where you live.
I know where you live.
Oh yeah, he does. Shit.
No, but the thing is looking at this too is like, okay, I understand it's old. It came around the same time, and maybe it's a little bit happier. Whatever the fuck. Maybe people actually do not like this movie. I actually like Dan Aykroyd, so maybe I'm a little biased. But then you get something like this where people really did not like this movie a whole lot. The Greatest Showman. I love this fucking movie.
There's actually quite a big hit with this. So yeah, a lot of people like this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I always hear people are saying like, "Well, it's good, but it's no Blues Brothers. It's definitely no fucking this. It's no Grease." And I'm like,
sometimes
"Are you
it's
shitting me?"
nostalgia talking, where it's like, "Well, this new thing." It's like, "Well, I watched something beforehand. It was much better." Sometimes nostalgia always like overrides kind of that shit. That's why, to a certain degree, you should probably go back and watch the movies that you're like, "Well, this is better than this," and go back to like, "Well, maybe it's not as good as I remember it."
But even looking at this, even Hugh Jackman himself in interviews has said like, "No, I want this. I look up to fucking Grease, and I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I love Grease." And it's like, yeah, we gotta stop saying we want to look up to shit like that and look up to shit that's actually good, not like the first ofs, not trying to pay respect to whoever came before the other one. Let's look at actual quality. Grease is so not fucking quality. And one thing I have to say too that I had to bring up. Lately, every movie I've been watching with the fucking endings, even Avengers Infinity War with the fucking goddamn endings. This movie ends up with John Travolta flying into the fucking sky on a car.
So it ends like Florida.
I love it that you saw that shit.
Nick, I love you. Nick,
What the fuck is that?
It was weird. Yeah.
It's the weird.
He flies zip zam to the moon.
No fucking reason.
The second weirdest thing in this movie, besides the lack of black people, is the fact that
for the people who haven't seen Grease Lightning, because you need to get the context of this fucking bullshit. So basically, what happens? They do their whole song number, the whole thing. I've been quoting this whole fucking podcast, and they get into the car and they're doing the whole outro, and it looks like they're just gonna drive off into like the end credits or into a distance, and then S Grease is gonna pop up. No, slowly that shit starts to lift like a plane, and they literally drive into the sky, waving at the audience and shit.
Basically, hanging off the
car wasn't magical in the first place. No, at what point did they mention the car was magical? Nor did they mention he put jet fuel in the motherfucker when he was building it.
Wait, but guys, you skipped the best part. That's not Grease Lightning. That's not the car they built that wins the race. That's an entirely different car.
Yeah.
It's not the same car.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up really quick.
Look, we accept this movie is already a fantasy in some of the ways that it's people singing and dancing.
Oh, fantasy, right? That is not Chris Ryan. Holy shit!
It was
So wait, the
stupid.
question is, are they singing? Because musicals, they always have magical powers. So I assume that this is just a magical power of a musical.
That happens.
No, this is when the LSD kicked in.
yeah.
This is in the parking lot right now chilling.
She dropped some serious acid right before that, and she's tripping balls.
The director got to the end of the movie and like just did a nice, good long line of cocaine and was like, "All right, fuck it, it's flying. Yeah, we're gonna fly, man. Fly me to the moon, man."
What are you talking about? The movie? Yeah.
Yeah, and look at this shit. Rydell High. Like, man, in my face, man, fuck this movie.
Did you expect it to have any less of an ending? Because it's musicals. They're always doing crazy
Well,
shit. Did you expect it to end with, them all waving to the camera? Good night, folks.
I have a feeling you're getting towards the review part of it, Nick. So there's one more thing I have to ask about this film and your opinion on it.
I don't know.
How'd you feel when there was an attempted rape and they just play it off as nothing?
Oh,
yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, no, I've been like, you know what? With movies like Summer of 49, I keep forgetting the name of that fucking movie, but with movies like that where literally kids are the protagonists as they look up a girl's panty line to see her vagina so they can masturbate by her face, but yet they're the good guy. In a world where those movies exist, this was actually fucking normal. Rape is actually normal in this fucking world, ladies and gentlemen, because Hollywood is so fucking... And I'm about to get into that with Elle next, too, because motherfucker, like... I hate Hollywood. I fucking hate Hollywood so passionately.
Elle is not Hollywood, so I don't blame it on Hollywood.
Greece is. So
yeah.
Can we also talk about the fact that there's definitely a relationship going on between Marty Maraschino and random sailors?
Yeah.
All her boyfriends she's had for years. They're definitely older than her. Like,
Yeah, I hate this fucking movie. But I will say, even with me hating this movie, there is a couple of things where it's like, yeah, it's an avoided, because if you like musicals, man, do they musical this fucking thing up. Like, holy shit, there's a lot of fucking musicals.
Yo, dog, I heard you like musicals, so I got some musical to be in your musical so you can musical while you musical.
Musically. But like another thing too is, like Justin said earlier, and this is why I do like some of the things that Justin says, where in the sense of like they put a lot of work into just the people behind John Travolta. Fuck John Travolta and his stupid fucking hairdo. It's the people behind him. It's everyone dancing around him. That I'm like, you know what? This is equivalent to when they do this big announcement with Apple before the dude died, and what's his name, the main dude from Apple that died?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs?
Yeah, Steve Jobs. So when he would come up on stage, and it's like, yeah, everyone claps for him, yay, this fucking guy. But it's like the real people that actually made the shit, the people behind him who are not getting fucking clapped for. That's what this movie suffers from. The people behind John Travolta are fucking incredible, and that has to go for something, because I can never do that. I could spend all my time and all my money and everything on making a fucking movie. I will never, ever be able to do something even slightly as interesting, as far as like physically, as Grease did. So I'll give it that. But I fucking hate this movie. Step Up is fucking better. High School Musical is fucking better. Fucking all these fucking movies are better. Because
I know you're not saying that.
No, I'm saying that.
Have you watched High School Musical?
Yes, I fucking hate that movie, and I hate Zac Efron, and I hope he fucking stops working. But the thing is, though,
Would you be interested to know that he's playing a serial killer in his next movie?
yeah, that might win me over. And
Man, that's how you get Nick. Whatever the hell it is, just say there's going to be some killing. He'll immediately perk up.
I love killing, because I was about to kill me watching this fucking thing. But like, that's what really set it apart from everything else, is that at least Step Up ends with a fucking ending that makes sense for Step Up. At least High School Musical ends the way it's going to end. Yeah. At least Dirty Dancing ends in a kind of a beautiful way. I mean, I don't like Dirty Dancing, but at least it ends.
I gotta get you to watch West Side Story now.
Yikes, I don't know.
West Side Story. Oh, God. That is.
Or as fucking Rojo keeps saying in the chat, watch Rent.
Oh no, Rent is next. Rent is next. That is something we're actually
Nick,
gonna plan to watch.
Rent. You will hate Rent.
I'm not watching Rent just to spite him.
Listen, I do want to see Nick watch a West Side Story just so I can hear him rage for 2.5 hours.
Oh.
I don't want to do that, because I got to deal with it for the next like year.
I always bring it up. You motherfuckers made me watch that shit. But Justin, what would you give this movie, man?
Stream it. Not even enthusiastic about it. It's some decent music, some decent acting, it's some decent filmmaking, but it's dated. It's stupid. It's just very very fluff. That's about it.
Gotcha. How about you, buddy?
Justin said the best. I'm gonna stream it. Same reasons as all.
I hate you two so much. No, I'm gonna take a break from talking to myself.
Some people like it, man.
Well, they should die. But moving on.
Oh Lord.
You, Alan, I'm gonna have you start this one off. Anon, brother. I want to watch this.
I gotta say, We watched this
Na, na,
trailer
na.
for my news podcast, and this looked like the most boring, generic science fiction movie.
Oh, you're right.
God damn it!
Yay.
Except for all the
Okay.
POV sex.
Oh my god, there's so much
Oh,
POV.
boy.
Okay, so the best way to kind of sum this movie up, and for anyone that's a huge fan of Black Mirror, the best way to describe this is this feels like an extended episode of Black Mirror. Which,
Yep.
for the first half of this movie, me and 90s were watching it, and Ganja showed up at some point. We were legitimately enjoying it because it showed this interesting. Where basically the basic part of this movie is everyone has either in their brain, that's not really explained, but it's not supposed to. But basically what it is, they have some sort of technology in their brain that everything kind of lights up when they look at it. They look at a paper towel, it'll tell you paper towel made by whatever, and this is how old it is. They'll look at random walls, and the movie does this where it shows like this is what we would see, this is what they see, and they see advertisement all over the place. They see, they'll walk up to a storefront, and then the watch will appear on their hand. They'll be like, oh, this watch costs this much. Check it out. And the whole movie is based on that, and you're following a police officer and they show his day to day, where it's like, oh, what happened to my son? He's been missing for 3 days. Oh, let's, go through the records, and they have access to everyone's cameras because this whole thing is recording your every single moment of your life. So they can the police have the access to it. So they find this guy's son. Turns out he committed suicide. This woman comes in and said, oh, I've been robbed. So they find the robber, and that's kind of how this goes. But then this guy goes, wait, oh, there's some weird shit happening. This woman she just isn't there anymore. What's going on here? And it turns out as it goes on, and this is where the movie kind of gets more and more boring when it turns into this like chase movie, because they're trying to find this girl that's able to fuck with essentially reality, where she's able to kind of mess with the eye implants and make them see things that aren't there or delete things in general. And that's a huge deal because it's like, this is our number one thing. We can solve every crime just by going through the recording and figure out who was there. But this girl starts deleting shit, then we don't know what the fuck crime is. And that's the basic premise of the movie. But I feel like the movie it has to extend itself because it feels like, well, you have to be a movie. They could have cut 30 minutes out of this movie, and most of it is a pointless sex scenes. Like, there's just sex for no fucking reason. There's just dialogue for kind of no reason.
I was very confused at some of the scenes because, like, this got to be a Netflix film because if this was actual theatrical release and R17, man, there's like some damn near POV scenes that they shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
They have this one shot, and I swear to God, this movie doesn't seem particularly expensive, except for maybe some of the after effects. But there's one shot where they're basically doing the whole gun. You'll find it in a trailer. They're doing the gun thing. But anybody that knows how eyes work, you can see your fucking nose. But the way the gun thing, it's like here. It makes no sense. And the problem is, it looks so cheap that it's like, I'm sorry, this is supposed to be the most. They reuse that shot over and over and over again. It's the POV shot where he's holding the gun. They reuse the shot over and over again, and it's like, this is the cheapest effect in this movie. This movie does look pretty good, but it's the cheapest effect. It looks like some fucking Doom knockoff whenever they do that. But it's one of those things where it starts off relatively interesting, like a Black Mirror episode. This is a normal part of life. This is how we do things. No one's questioning this stuff because it's so normal that it makes perfect sense. Like, yeah, here, I'll send you, I went to check out this girl. I'm going to send you the recording of me checking out this girl. It's like everyone can kind of do that. Like, I could send you what my life was, what I did yesterday. That's a normal part of life. But then as they start going into essentially the plot of this movie, it just starts being boring. Then at the hour mark, they just go crazy for no reason. Then they forget about it. And it just drags on to where it ends. And you're like, well, I guess I watched it.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. It's literally just average. It has a decent concept, but I feel like they never go anywhere with it. They just kind of like, well, this is it. And there's a plot twist at the end, and that's it.
Man, this is so sad because this is the guy who wrote Truman Show way back in the day. And he's just
that makes so much sense.
Yeah, he's making crap movies since then, like In Time, that Justin Timberlake film. But
really? Damn.
In Time's not that bad.
I've been hearing so many mixed things about that movie.
But the thing is that makes me really sad too is that I love Clive Owen and he looks bored, like so.
Oh, he is so boring in this movie. He walked out of Children of Men going, yeah, okay, I'll just do this again.
I don't know how Owen can be bored while he's having sex.
Oh my God, he's so bored during sex. He's having sex with Amanda Seyfried and still looks bored.
God.
He having sex with Amanda Seyfried's looking like and still looking bored.
Okay, so what's going on? Okay, because you guys have brought up sex a lot, so like, is that
It plays a huge role.
So much sex. It's so weird because like, as much as I kind of like that they don't explain everything, because it's like it's a normal life. Like, imagine trying to get someone from the '60s trying to explain what a cell phone is. Like, you would have almost. It's like it's my phone. Like, what do you mean? What do I have to explain this? This is part of me every single day, and that's how they treat the technology, and that's what I really like because it's like. It's not like this technology just came out on Kickstarter. This is so normal that the police just do this as a normal thing. Like, well, hey, review the files. Like, it's so normal. That's what I love about it. And there's a lot they don't explain, like the laws. Because at one point he hires a hooker and pays her just by saying like, pay. Like, you see like the his bank account number. You see him paying the hooker, and then you see at one point. Yeah, and then at one point he orders cocaine, but it's like you see early in the movie when someone gets murdered, it's like immediately like dial 911. This is an emergency situation, but it's like so it's not clear what's legal and what's not legal, which just kind of bothered me because it's like you should be a police, you should tell us what's legal in this world and what's not, but it does leave a lot out. It feels like you got 30 minutes out of this movie, and it would have been the same movie.
Yeah, because
It would have been a Black Mirror episode.
Essentially.
Yeah, this sounds like Minority Report as done by Black Mirror.
This is Minority Report mixed in with Man on Fire in season 3 of Black Mirror. This is basically like it's Minority Report mixed in with a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm actually really upset about this because I wanted to see this movie so fucking bad. I was so sure this was going to be one of the better Netflix movies. I was
It was
like,
almost there. It's not as shitty as some of the other stuff we watched, but it was like it almost had something Netflix almost.
Oh, man. Ganja, you, man. I mean, how do you feel about this movie? I know that Alan said a lot of shit, but is there anything you can add there, or at least argue
pretty
with?
much said it all when it comes to a lot of how I feel about the film. Honestly, it's a fucking avoid it, or if you really like this type of sci-fi shit, maybe you stream it and give Netflix that view. But honestly, avoid the fuck out of it. It does nothing different out of like everyone says, a Black Mirror episode or Minority Report. So I don't feel the need to actually go back and watch this film again, except for maybe seeing a few POV shots of Man and Sea Freak. You know, besides that, like that shouldn't be a movie to go buy it. I know. I think. I think Red Robot King is saying that Alan has a problem with sex scenes. Yeah, I do too. When there's no point to them at all. There's no character development. We're not seeing a relationship bloom out of it. Or hell, it's not even some dirty kinky sex that we get off to. This was just sex for the sake of sex to show off their whole POV trick. But like, yo, you guys get it? It's the whole point I view. And fuck this movie.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, sex scenes don't always bother me, but it's like if they're just there or pointless, or it's like why you could have just cut this out. Like, and there's so many you could have just cut out of this movie.
It's a thing too of like, yeah, if you're going to be a movie that has sex scenes just to be sexual and just to have sex scenes, then have some balls and show it all. Like, turn it into a POV porn with the story. That's what we want to see. Have the first Pornhub movie.
Break that rule number 3, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Anon, brought to you by Pornhub.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, you know it's coming, right? Like, you know, it's like real movies. Like,
Clive Owen never saw it coming.
That's awesome. And by the way, what did you give it, Alan?
I would give it an avoid it, where it's like if you're a fan of Black Mirror, you've already seen this movie. You've already seen it. Like it's you've already watched it. It's called Man on Fire. Maybe Playtest. Maybe Entire History of You. It takes from a lot of those episodes.
That one, Entire History.
Yeah, it's more like that one. But when you see like some of the other stuff, like it takes a lot from Black Mirror. So if you're a fan of Black Mirror, you've already watched it. If you're not a fan of Black Mirror, I still say avoid it because it's such a cool concept. It's such an interesting concept. But that trailer is the whole movie. There is it does not deviate from that. That is literally the whole movie. There's no surprises. There's nothing more interesting. Unless you want an extended version of that movie in which, Clive Owen is just bored walking around in the grayest city in the world. I honestly want to turn out the contrast on my monitor. Everything is gray. Like, not even like I'm saying that making fun of it. The entire thing is gray.
I guess you can say 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes. Literally, there are 50 Shades of Grey in this movie. But yeah, I'd say avoid it. It's not worth your time. It's not the worst Netflix movie. It's not the best. It's just like, honestly, I'll forget about this movie tomorrow.
And Julian's over here saying
that part was very grating.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Julian's saying, so what you're saying is there's a better POV scenes and Muck with a Gun available now on YouTube White. Yes.
I don't think it might have better ones, but you don't want to see them.
On the white part.
Exactly, yeah. YouTube White? No, so before I even get into my thing, because I'm just going to fucking yell the entire time. Justin, have you seen anything you want to talk about on Flex and Chill today, sir?
Not really. I finished my thesis this week and I'm defending Monday, so that's been taking up my time.
Wait, defending Monday as a day?
Yeah. So Monday I do my actual thesis defense. So.
Okay, I thought you meant your thesis is about defending Monday.
I know, like Monday's great. Everyone talks shit about Monday, but
so are you debating Garfield?
Garfield's wrong. Monday.
Technically, Sunday's the start of the week, so Monday is not should not be hated on. Exactly. Instead, it's in the Lord's book.
Ruthless, how about you, man?
Honestly, this week I've been really busy doing other stuff, so I haven't had a chance to catch anything that y'all haven't really talked about. I mean, Infinity War, of course.
Of course.
That's about it as far as new stuff. I got some stuff I'm going to check out tomorrow and next week, but I can't talk about that just yet.
Yeah, so, okay, I guess
Oh, Lord. Which one are you going to bitch about?
Yeah, because, by the way, spoiler alert, next two things are bad. But this one, because I'm going to need to just shut up after this. I can't tell you how much this makes me hate movies. There's this movie called Elle.
Let's keep it concise. We've been
And
on
not
here
the
for a
letter
while.
L, as I thought for most of this movie.
Yeah, exactly. No. There's this woman named Elle. And I forgot who plays her, but I don't give a fuck. Like,
Some French woman, doesn't matter.
Honestly, this fucking bitch does not deserve me fucking saying what her actual name is. Like,
She got an Oscar nomination for it. So.
I know, and I'm so glad you brought that up because the Golden Globes. And by the way, Oscar nod, but on Golden Globes she won 2, or she won 1, and then director won a fucking Golden Globe.
Yeah, because he won Best Foreign Language Film. But no, her name's Isabelle Huppert.
Yeah, Isabel. Who cares?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, this fucking movie. So here's the thing, and you know what? I'm sorry. I'm just gonna show this right here. Oh, if I can click the fucking thing. This is how a movie starts. As a matter of fact, before the movie starts, the movie is pitch black. We haven't got to credits, and the director, who's such a fucking what's his name? Paul Verhoeven. Paul Verhoeven. This dude is so wanting to fucking do rape so bad. He's a sick fucking piece of shit fuck. That this movie gets to the rape scene before we even get a scene. The
movie is about everything about the rape. Well, I mean, again, I've not seen this movie, so I can't judge it as a quality. I'm just saying that's what the premise is.
Actually, Justin, you're not wrong. Like, that's pretty much how it starts, is with the rape off. And the thing is, like, after the rape occurs, the whole point of it starting off like that is to show how, and this is one thing I think Nick had a whole problem with it, is it shows the rape in a very graphic, horrifying sense.
Times.
And the thing is, like, I have no problem with it showing the rape, and I've talked about this. Like, rape is one of those huge things that I hate when it comes to movie. But this whole subject is about a rape survivor and how they're going through the trauma of this. And the thing is, a lot of the moments that you have with the rape survivor having these moments where they flash back to the rape or the rape occurs, it's either to prove a point within it. For example, like the beginning of the rape scene. It's to show the brutality of the rape. It's not shot in any sexy way. For example, I always go back to Hills' Eye. That is, and Last Silence on the Left. Those are movies that fetishize their rapes very fucking well. They'll do close-up scenes. They'll make sure that the moaning is perfect. They'll do like very essential lighting and whatnot. Whereas this was done like in a broad daylight sense, and it looked like a fucking crime. If I showed you like a snuff film, that's what this will look like. And it wasn't shot in that romantic sense, which I give the director a little bit credit for, because a lot of times when they do rape, it's in the sense of trying to get the director off. I didn't feel with this, because a lot of times the rape was a pungent scene to get the characters' motivation of what they're dealing with across. For example, like the first rape scene is brutal and it takes a little while, but afterwards the character just looks in a state of like kind of shock and just goes to her normal day, almost to the point that she takes out food, and her biggest decision of whether she wants the chicken or the beef. Yeah, and that just shows how, like, statistically, rape survivors, they kind of deal with that. But the problem with
how do you process that? Yeah.
The problem with this movie is it's done so shittily, and it's so incoherent that it drops all the fucking best parts of that idea and the premise. The point is, where I had a counter, and I was like, all right, so are we not going back to the rape? Does it matter?
Oh, no, we are, because they're making a video game. So we had to show characters getting raped in a video game to simulate that she got raped, because the dude's fucking with her. A company that she owns, by the way, so she knows everybody who works underneath her. And someone that was funny, because people think like this, that was funny to literally go into and create a fucking whole video game scene of an octopus dude raping a girl, showing behind her, showing vagina insertion, and going up her skirt, etc., killing her with so much rape. Over and over and over again, numerous times, and I mean numerous times within one scene, many scenes. And then after that video game scene of the video game rape, they do another one where they put her face, photoshopped her face on the thing, on the character getting raped. They do it again, and then after that, Justin, they show her getting raped for real.
The first character wasn't a rape scene. It was just a brutal scene of the woman being captured by the creature, and then the next one they make the model rape the female character.
Yeah, because it wasn't just 2. There was so much more than 2. It was, and then not to mention that coupled with...
It was shown multiple times, but it was shown to... It was more of a murder... It was one of those things where they constantly show the murder.
Yeah, I don't know. And by the way, Julian, I won't say that. Julian's like, fuck, I'm watching this. Sounds awful.
Hold on, Julian. I'm defending the rape scene because I think the guy did it in a tasteful manner, unlike a lot of directors, especially in horror films, that get off on their material.
You think he did it in a tasteful manner?
I think he did it in a tasteful manner when it comes to how the rape is actually portrayed, because it's done in 3 different types of ways. One, it's done in the brutality way, and it's done to show the character as a broken. The second time, it's done in a way of how she wants it to happen, where the character overcomes her rape and becomes a hero. And the third time is showing her as a person that's just submitted herself to the situation and has become a broken person.
Oh,
so,
and then they also show it where she likes it, folks. She likes it.
Because that's what happens with victims of sexual abuse. Sometimes they become lovers of their sexual assaulter. It's actually a huge problem. One of the things that a lot of sexual abuse places deal with in trying to get these people out of the situation. And I felt it was done in that manner, especially to the point that she tried to resist at first, and then she lets it in because it shows how much the rape broke her as an individual, as somebody who, as the movie has already established, is somebody that has already been abused before, in the sense of people with power over her have made her do a horrible act such as her father, which is the mystery that they take place throughout the film.
Okay,
Right.
well, I mean, look, I'm going to be as respectful as I can. I will show you this, because you did bring up Hills Have Eyes and Last House on the Left, and this is going to be a trailer for Hills Have Eyes. This,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
with this rape thing, it was bad for one big thing. It lasts literally 5 minutes. And that's the whole time in the whole film. And it's a horror movie, and she does get her revenge back. And it's not just rape. These dudes are just going after the whole family, killing them, doing the whole thing. And one other huge thing here is that it doesn't make them into it. It doesn't make it like, well, this is how they deal with it. It's like, no, when people are raped, especially in a horrible way, sometimes the shit actually is super intense. And sometimes people just don't go, that was an awful rape. I'm going to get some apple slices. Like, you know.
Well,
and,
that's one thing. I think this is our biggest argument with that. I think you because you watch so many horror movies, that you have this idea that the victim must overcome and fight their abuser, whereas this was more of a realistic portrayal of what happens when people are sexually assaulted.
Well, the thing is, a man saved her, and that's the movie is looked upon as being a feministic movie. This woman is completely reliant on fucking men.
I don't know where
throughout
the
whole
fuck they
thing.
get that at all.
Yeah,
Right.
this movie is heavily like, if you don't have a man, you ain't got shit, and it's fucking annoying because, for one, you know, I'm so sick of the man being the fucking hero all the fucking time, especially in a situation where she could defend herself in this. There comes a time in this fucking movie, and like, I'll try to get out the whole rape shit, even though the whole movie, it just loves being in the pool of fucking rape. But it gets to a point where, and now I'm going to spoil this movie because you should not fucking see this. You really shouldn't. But this movie has 14 scenes of her eating. 14 fucking scenes. And I swear to God, I started screaming after 6 because I'm like,
So is it a Japanese movie with how much people eat?
well,
and
it's
stuff?
foreign, and apparently everyone who's not in America is a fucking freak, because I'm so sick of that shit too. Like, I honestly don't want to watch any more foreign movies, because every time I watch a foreign movie, it starts off with a girl masturbating close up, she's bleeding because she's masturbating so hard, or she's getting raped, which, by the way, she gets raped in this movie, and they show her wiping the blood from her vagina in the fucking tub, because who loves to see that shit, right? Like, that's fucking awesome. I can't wait to see that shit. You know, oh, God. And then fucking, like, I'm sick of these fucking movies. And just like with Call Me By Your Name, I know we're sick of bringing that fucking movie up. But it's like, the guy who got with the little fucking boy wins. He gets what he wants. He gets to go home, fuck his, legally okay to fuck wife. And then his, that little boy is going through the shit he's going through in the credits, crying for fucking 10 minutes, looking at a fucking... He looks like a screensaver at the end of Calling By Your Name. It's fucking ridiculous. And, like, this movie, the dude fucking almost wins, except for when another guy comes in and fucking kills him, which she could have done. There's a part in this fucking story where she likes the guy, because the guy who rapes her is the dude who lives across the street. And she fucking, she likes him, she finds out she raped, and then she starts saying, like, you know what, I kind of want this. Almost like Phantom Thread. If you guys have watched Phantom Thread, you will know that, and Alan fucking hates the movie. But at a certain point in Phantom Thread, you find out that there's just this really crazy relationship, and they earn that, because throughout the whole movie, she's slowly starting to poison him. You start to see why she's doing it, and you see how they're both very, very much the same, to the point where, even though he's been the villain, and he's been treating her wrong the whole time, there is a connection, and they love each other. And this is the same thing, except it's with rape. And this is directly affecting her life in such a negative manner. It's ruining her life, but she likes it. There's a point where she has her fucking son sleep on a couch, and her and the fucking dude go downstairs, and she lets the fucking dude rape her. And it's intense. It shows the panties being ripped off, her old titties being smacked and squeezed, him raping, thrusting for fucking minutes at a time, over and over and over again, sometimes taking scenes and copy-pasting them and just having a different outlook, just like fucking Handmaiden. Exactly like fucking Handmaiden.
Nah, that scene in the cellar was completely a different scene.
I'm not talking about the cellar.
Yeah, I wish I could say this surprised me, but I know the director, and you all know the director too, and this shit like this is fairly common for his movies. Paul Verhoeven did Total Recall, Starship Troopers, Basic Instinct, the first RoboCop, Hollow Man,
yes.
and
Oh,
And
that
the
makes
big
more
one-
sense.
That
And the
explains
big one-
so much.
He also did Showgirls. Like, this is
Oh, he
the
also
same-
did Black Book. If you didn't mention that one too.
I was gonna mention Black Book, but yeah,
He's a perverted fuck. He's a
Yeah,
fucking pervert.
he has a weird thing.
He's
all
Dutch.
the
Of course, he's
movies.
a weirdo.
Yeah.
It's
And-
weird. I'm not gonna be racist.
Oh, I'm not racist. I'm saying I know Dutch people, and Dutch people have very weird perspectives on life, these kind of philosophical points about nature and life and that such. So
I
I'm like,
can't wait to see Amsterdam.
Yeah, you know, if you rape, it'll be okay because she might be
Ah,
into it.
fuck
You
it,
have
no.
a chance. Fuck
Hey,
it.
I just want to say, Julian's like, oh, the rape was nicely portrayed. Julian, you said the younger wasn't clearly into it, bitch. Get out of here with that.
But that's the thing, though, is like this movie, I take rape in movies seriously because there's people watching this shit, masturbating, thinking, "Oh, I love this shit." Yeah, rape her. Like, there's fucking freaks
Yeah,
out there that like this
is
shit.
this is my argument with you. You can't control that when there's freaks out there that would jerk off to fucking anything. Your favorite horror movies are mostly like villains going after females and killing them brutal ways. There is a dude right now that's jerking off to Halloween 1 and having a pleasant old time thinking about being that killer. You can't control those people, Nick. One thing I defend this movie in the slightest, because here's the one thing, Julian. This movie's awful because the director sucks, the actor sucks. Halftime, the plot lines drop for no fucking reason. The mystery is solved abruptly. There are plot holes like a motherfucker, time holes, which I fucking hate, and the movie is overall boring. But the one thing he did do a little bit good, and I can see why the fucking Oscars, with their love of everything taboo for some reason, that gets a slide besides actual good movies, is they handled the rape to a certain degree. For example, the rape is done in horrifying manners. A lot of these horror films, they're done in either a tense or an excitement manners where you're like, oh man, look what's happened to the victim. Oh my god, I can't believe, like for Hills Have Eyes and Last Hour on the Left. Whereas this was more shot in a like a snuff film side where you've seen like a convenience store video of this shit and it feels more brutal. Down to the part where you're mentioning where she starts to give in to the rapist, which a lot of sexual assault victims do. They will start to form a relationship with their assaulters, and it's a terrible thing, and it's something that a lot of assault people that deal with these things are trying to prevent and trying to help out. And she gives into it, and it's shot in this like really dark cellar room, and you can tell it's almost shot in a horror, like this like most drama horror aspect, and it's shot in this like very crimson red. It's not done in an erotic sense or in a sense of trying to get someone off. It's almost like it shows the character dying inside almost. And one thing that separates this movie from a lot is the movie actually does a PSA moment in the car where she mentions that the relationship is toxic hell and mentions that people shouldn't be doing this and we are broken people for me allowing you to do this to me. And that's when it starts to pick up for her resisting the guy. I don't let it slide so much about the guy saving her at the end because I think that's just the bullshit of typical movie histories of saving the person at the end, because she does build up to her son coming home early by giving him the key saying, oh, I'm going to take a ride with him. If you got to get home early, here's the key. And her son does arrive early and saves her from being, assaulted again for the final time. And it makes sense within the context of the film. But I don't see like the rape as something people could just jerk off and get off to.
Yeah, and for me, it becomes a porno, not porno, but it becomes a porno story because after she finds out that who the rapist is, which the whole movie was supposed to be a fucking mystery, and then it's like, okay, well, let's just tell them who the fuck it is. So they find out, and then the reason why I get mad too is because it's a rape apologist movie in a sense, and I'll tell you why. There's a part, and goddamn, I hate this in movies, and it's like, man, way to help the whole women can't drive shit. But she's driving in a fucking empty road, an empty fucking road, and she manages to fucking crash and flip the car. And even though she has, and you can tell she has friends. She's been to dinners. She only ate 16 fucking times in this movie with her friends, but you know she has friends. But the one person she calls to help her is the rapist.
Well,
She
she calls her friends first, and it goes straight to voicemail.
But thank you. I'm so glad you said that because she calls a rapist, and one thing that I fucking hate about this movie too is like, you know what? Her friends who are not rapists, they're okay. I mean, they're not the best friends, but you know who's a real true fucking friend? The rapist. That guy cares because he cares enough to even rape her. So he comes out there to fucking save her life, and then they start dating.
Did we watch the same movie?
He ran.
Yeah,
he drove out to the fucking car.
Because first of all, she crashed not because she was a bad driver, because a deer ran out in front of her and she swerved off the road. Second of all, it was established that she's kind of a fucking asshole. Why Alan was ready to punch the bitch every time she was on scene. And it showed that her friends don't give a fuck about her, and she's sleeping with one of her friends' husbands. and they don't answer the phone, and it shows how much of a broken person, how slow she is, that the only one she knows she can depend on is the rapist, that she didn't go to the fucking cops to call because the cops are constantly watching her because her father was a serial killer, so she doesn't trust the police, which is established very much through dialogue. So her only dependent is the motherfucker that raped her, because he's the only person she has got stuff on him that she needs help from.
Yeah. I don't know about that, especially considering, and you also say this too with her, and like, oh, this is how people with rape deal with this way. Fuck, no, it's clear, and the movie makes it very, very clear that she's just into him, and she's okay that it's rape because she's into him. Before the movie, and he's married, by the way, and he's a neighbor. She literally, at some random dinner, just starts grabbing his junk and putting her foot on his junk and the whole fucking thing too.
Well, yeah, that's before she knows she's the rapist. She did have.
I realize that, but the reason why the movie makes it very, very clear that it's like it's not because she's a girl who got raped and it's like, oh, now she's okay with getting raped. She knows it's him. And that's what makes it okay because he's a handsome guy. No, she didn't know she was him. Liked him.
Before you're talking about the dinner scene when she gives the guy.
I know she didn't know. She didn't know at that time, Ganja. But I'm saying like when she finds out finally later on in the fucking film, like she has already liked this dude before, and the film makes it very, very obvious that she's always been wanting to fuck this dude. So when she finds out that that's a rapist, she's a little mad. She's like, wow, I can't believe the guy I like this fucking rapist. But she's like, well, I've been wanting you to dick this whole fucking time, and that's why she ends up cool with it. That's why she has.
I don't think we watched the same film because it established that she tries to fight him in the cellar, and then she just gives in, breaks down, and
there's dialogue where she literally says, do that again. She literally pulls him into the cellar to do it.
Because that's what happens, dude. This is my problem with you with this movie is that you want a superhero movie where this movie is trying to go out to show more of a realistic portrayal of what happens to these people that are sexually assaulted, that fall for their assaulter, not just a heroic person saves himself at the end of the day kind of film.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're not gonna get each other's fucking side here. And I'm sorry, Alan, I forgot you even watched the movie because I've been fine with this motherfucker this whole goddamn time.
Well, I figured I'd wait till, the allies fought each other and I would just come into the aftermath.
Wait for the dust to settle.
Well, I'm gonna let you talk because the only thing I'm gonna say too is just I can 100% I more than 100% disagree with you, and I think it's very, very obvious. And I'm not gonna sell you I know you keep saying like, oh, well, I don't know what movie you fucking watch. I mean, I could do that to you too, and I'm not trying to say that you didn't pay attention. I always say that because there was like dialogue established that you're just like throwing away that I'm like I'm confused on. And that's the thing, like the dialogue that was said was literally subtitled and was like literally. I mean, I can understand us not hearing it right, but it's literally written on screen. So it's like I don't know what I mean. I want to say it, but
I'm gonna take that moment to jump in because I'm gonna side a little bit with Nick because at the scene at the dinner table before it's established that this guy's a rapist, she's clearly into him. But in my head, I'm thinking she already because we're guessing of course it's him. In her head, she's like, honestly, he's like in my head, it's like a mix of she clearly sleeps with everybody, but she's like almost like was a little bit sure that it was him. Like she almost had the idea because at that point that's right where the reveal happens. So she's like, I'm looking at everyone. You're kind of the person. So in my head, I'm like, and this is what I hate about this is one of the things I hate about this movie is it's almost like, oh, I have to analyze this where it's like every one of us is right or every one of us is wrong. We'll never fucking know because this genre, and I hate this genre, is you have to analyze every fucking bit of detail. The next point you guys are going to is the whole car wreck. The Ganja was right saying that the car wreck happened because she wasn't paying attention because she was going through her PTSD. The deer's there, fucks up, crashes there, and instead of calling anybody else, because I'm like, call the fucking cops, you crazy bitch. Like, oh wait, she's been basically shit on because of how her father was. So she called rapist because that's the point where she realizes it and has a connection where she's like, she's doing whatever it takes to get his attention. So that's why that scene ends up happening. And when it comes to the actual rape, it's filmed like a horror shot. When there's one scene where it almost pans the camera, shows her scared face, and shows the rapist top her. It's almost like I expected him to pull out a knife and stab her like I've seen in 100 other horror movies, because that's how it ended up being filming. The problem with this movie, and the biggest problem with this movie, is I described about 20 minutes of footage. This movie is 2 hours and 10 minutes. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't happen. There's a lot of just scenes that go nowhere. Like Nick's talking about the eating, he's not kidding. And one of my biggest problems with this movie is when the rape scene happens, it's so abrupt of what she does with her life. I'm like, this movie is so poorly edited that it's like, wait, did that just happen? Or is that a time skip? Is this back and forth? The flow of the movie is very confusing. But honestly, I can't sit there and say, well, fuck this movie, because again, it did show a real interpretation of what it kind of happens where we never got to see this girl's life beforehand. So when she's acting all shitty to everyone around her, it's hard to tell where does the rape start and where does her just being a shitty person end. because it feels like it's a mix of both, where it's slowly taking over her life, and you see that throughout the whole movie. She starts acting out more. She starts acting like a shittier person. She starts being more attracted to this guy, even though this is clearly a terrible situation. But she keeps getting more and more attracted to this guy, and it's like by the end of it, when she's like almost snaps out of it and realizes, yo, what the fuck am I doing? She immediately is like, yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter what happens to doesn't matter what happens to me. We're through. We're over. And that's, you know, kind of how the movie ends. And I think to a certain degree, I'm like, okay, I get this. I don't get how this is a feminist movie in any way, shape, or form. I think they're only saying that because it's a female, you know, led movie. I think that's the only reason they're assuming feminism. But I don't think that makes the movie bad. Because again, as much as they're out there, there are people, men, you know, men, but mostly women, that deal with the shit on a daily basis. That, you know, guys, we don't have this fucking problem. We're not afraid if we walk down the street, some guy's gonna jump us. That's only a fear if we go to prison. But women, like that's we really don't have that problem. But this is a woman problem. This is almost only exclusively a woman's problem. And when you see this, it's like, this isn't the type of movie that you sit there and be like, oh man, you gotta watch this for anything. This is to kind of show the darker side of life. Where it's like, this isn't a feel-good movie. This is a movie to make you physically feel ill.
No, but here's
and I think that the director does that.
I got it. Julian, I'm giving you the best parts of the movie and the parts that I thought. This is a 2-hour and 10 movie film. This shit is fucking boring, sir.
I wouldn't say complex. I would say that there are complex moments and complex feelings, but the characters are supposed to play character types. But I think that the movie's plot, like, or sorry, what the movie does in there is a complex situation. Because we have Nick here, who's not wrong in any way, shape, or form how he feels about this movie. And same thing with Ganja. But this is what this movie portrays, and it's a complex emotion. Nobody can sit here, nobody on earth can sit here and be like, this is how you deal with it. It's like grief. If we saw a movie in which, you know, somebody's son died and they went on a bender and just got drunk and drove into a tree and died, nobody can sit here and be like, well, that guy shouldn't have done that. Because it's grief.
Yeah, basically.
but it's all about grief. It's all about how did they deal with this? And this woman's dealing with it. And Dick thinks it's unrealistic, but you know, Ganja doesn't, and I don't to a certain degree, because it's like, yeah, this kind of stuff happens. But I'm giving the director too much credit, because I could have edited this movie better. There are scenes that are out of order. There are scenes that make no sense. There are scenes that don't even happen or don't even get explained. And it feels like, again, this is a snapshot of this woman's life, but there is no idea of what kind of time period this in. And I really am upset with this director, because you had something here. If you edited this movie, you could have made this a really good movie. But this is a movie to make you feel sick inside. There is no happy feelings. There's no great feelings. There's no triumphal feelings except for maybe the end. You are supposed to feel sick at this movie.
Yo, not even the ending, because at the ending, the girl that's Christian, his crazy Christian wife, is just basically like, oh, he was a tortured soul.
Yeah.
I forgive him.
No, what are you
like,
saying that?
What the fuck?
Really
like,
quick,
you're not supposed to feel good in this movie.
Because that's the one thing I want to do really quick. I've been waiting to say that really quick, because I forgot what she said. I was actually looking it up earlier. I was looking up other things with this movie. But Ganja, with you saying that and Jet saying in the chat there, with that particular quote, how the fuck is this not a rape apologist movie when they literally apologize for the rapist?
Established that the character is a little fucking crazy with her religion, down to the point that she's like, oh, I like to put up Christmas ornaments all the time when it comes to Christmas time. I love the baby Jesus. It's trying to establish that she's a crazy religious freak. And that's something crazy religious people will tell you. Now, I didn't take it as like the film going like an apologist for the movie, because I took it as like we're supposed to look at it like, oh great, this is why it's hard to be a victim, because you have people that constantly forgive these assholes.
Or something more of that. When I heard that, my first thought was, don't we see this on every news story ever? It was supposed to show
AR-15
killings. Yeah. What about the guy that was the Austin
crazy.
bomber? It took him 4 days before they're like, yeah, this guy's a terrorist. They're like, well, you know, he was misunderstood.
Well, like,
and
the guy that shot up, or the guy that shot up Vegas, his brother was like, he was a good guy.
Yeah, and it's like, to me, that's what I took it as.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Alan.
No. Oh, sorry, but not to cut you up, but like, I don't think the movie was like, it's saying like, oh, forgive this guy. I think this movie's trying to say, it's like, oh, people think like this, and they say it to the main character. And I wish the main character, you know, emoted once in a while, because that would have made this better. That movie should have ended with her punching her in the face, but whatever. That's how I would have done. I would have ended this movie with her knocking her the fuck out. But I don't think it was trying to apologize for it. It was trying to show it's like, there are people, no matter how heinous your fucking act is, you know, people you're related to will still forgive you.
Yeah, and here's the thing, to push it one thing ahead just a tiny bit more, is, and I try to look it up, and this is my fault for not. I was busy and I didn't get shit right, so I just had to find whatever article I could find right now as we're talking about this. But many people, especially even at Golden Globes, etc., people talked about this movie being a dark comedy, and this is just an example right here, and just one little article. But I mean, this was said a lot, especially at the time. Even Corey Martin said it was. Ooh. This. How the fuck is rape comedy? And like when it comes to this, and hearing fucking men say this shit, I'm at a point now where if you like this movie, and I wrote it on Facebook, if you like this movie, I think differently about you. I honestly, I fucking hate anybody who can defend this. Now I know Ganja for a long time, so it's a little bit different.
No, I'm defending what the movie's trying to portray. I'm still gonna give this a fuck you as a film.
Yeah, but it's just for me. I'm swear I cannot. Like, there's movies I have in my top 10 worst list. Maybe we'll do that one of these days.
Like, all right. Well, the reason we're going to watch this film is, like, we were going to judge it harshly and critique it harshly. That was the fucking point at the beginning. Like, when you guys told me it was a fucking dark comedy, I want to say, like, how bad is this film going to be with this fucking shit? Are they just going to do waka waka jokes throughout the whole thing with rape included?
Well, I think it's going to be good.
This is only a comedy if you're a really shitty person.
If you're a shitty person, you find this funny. There's one joke, and it's when she's fucking with her mom about dating younger boys. That's it.
Yeah.
Even you're judging people differently. I'm saying, like, what else? There's the female critics, like this person here. I'm looking on the Elle Wikipedia page who named it their top film of the year. Do you judge them differently too?
Yeah,
definitely.
It's one of those things where it's like I get where Nick's getting at 100%, and it's one of those things where it's like I've been, I guess, the most defending of this movie, but I don't particularly think that this movie deserves praise. I think that the what he was trying to do is something like I don't believe that there's any topic too taboo for movies or some sort of thing, as long as it's done well. The problem is this movie is not done well, and it's like it's trying to juggle this complex, emotion, but it's just trying to also be like, well, here's a normal life, and it's not edited properly. There's an idea there, and I think this movie could have been really well done, but there are moments where nothing happens. Like it's like an hour and 10 before anything interesting even happens in this fucking movie.
Yeah. So,
but again, that's a Verhoeven thing. Like, I have a problem with this movie in the same way that I have problems with parts of his movies post like RoboCop. Like he always has this point where he's supposed to be supposedly, according to critics and other people watching it, he's making some grand point about some issue, and he misses it entirely and fetishizes that issue instead. He does it. He does it in Total Recall. Every chance he gets, he's like, all right, I'm going to show a hooker with 3 tits on Mars because I feel like it. I'm going to show Sharon Stone both seducing and beating the shit out of Arnold Schwarzenegger because I feel like it.
Or I'm going to have RoboCop shoot between a girl's legs to shoot a guy's dick off so she's bleeding up the front of her dress.
Yeah, I'm going to show a co-ed shower
Showgirls is supposed to be this big satire on fame and basically that we're all whores because we all want fame, and so we're doing it through a literal whore's journey into becoming a showgirl. And that movie is just stripping the movie. Don't lie to me. And it's the same thing here. I feel lied to because it's like, all right, I want to make this complex story about this woman dealing with some of the different ways people respond to being sexually assaulted and people being raped and the people around that person and how they treat them, how they deal with the whatever emotional responses come. But instead it turns into, hey, it was supposed to be a black comedy about rape. No, it wasn't. You clearly wanted to make a serious movie. And then when people started critiquing how unemotional the lead is, how ridiculous some of the ways you present things are. I will agree with Ganja. It is presented in a more realistic version of rape in that she does have different reactions each time. And she doesn't seem to be in the same mental space as she's dealing with the things around her that you would expect. Fine. I'm okay with that. Right. But over and over again, this movie presents this notion of, hey, this is weird. We're just going to be weird. But no, man, like there's no point to any of this. The whole long and short of this movie is there is literally no point to any of the stuff she does. And a lot of times I've like knowing some friends who have been sexually assaulted. I felt insulted. Like I felt like my intelligence was insulted watching that movie. Yeah. It's a fuck it for me.
Yeah, and for me too, one thing that and this is another cardinal sin on there's so many sins. The rape shit, the apologist stuff, the fucking boringness, and I hate with movies eating. For some reason, every fucking movie, The Post, Phantom Thread, all these movies just love to fucking eat. I hate food.
Brad Pitt in it.
Next time I'm at lunch, I'm just gonna send you me just eat it.
God damn, I'll kill you. But like, for some reason these movies, Shape of Water too, like lots of movies like to do that shit. But it is what it is. But that's a Cardinal Sin.
I'm gonna make you watch Chef next.
Man,
See,
fuck
but
that.
it's about food though. That's
That
about
movie's
food.
about food, yeah.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Okay. Distinction. There you go.
Yeah, and plus Bradley Cooper. I actually seen part of Chef because I downloaded it the other day, and I actually loved the first 20 minutes. That Chef's actually good.
I love that whole movie.
Yeah, so I'm actually watch it when I can. But moving aside from that, one thing that this movie does that I really can't stand in movies too is where it builds to a climax that it doesn't get. For a movie about rape and liking rape and going for it and everything, this movie does not come at all because I'm looking over here. It does what Gran Torino fucking did to me, and I fucking hate Gran Torino.
Man, I still think you're like, I love you, Nick, like a brother. You are still 100% wrong about Gran Torino in every way.
I'm sorry, but this movie makes it seem like this guy's about to do some good shit, and it has the worst. I'm telling you, the worst fucking ending, pretty much almost of all time. Next to Grease. Like this fucking thing. This movie ends. Elle's walking around with her boring bitch fucking face, learning like how to shoot a gun, having fucking a bunch of weapons. Oh, I'm gonna be a fucking real woman today. I'm actually gonna fucking do something other than let men fucking rule my goddamn life. And a man still rules her life at the fucking end. I hate this fucking bitch. I fucking hate her. I was hoping she'd die at the end. I was like, if she dies, I'd be fucking happy at this point.
I thought that was gonna happen too.
Like, and it's like, it makes me think of Gran Torino, and I'm telling you, I know people love Clint Eastwood. I know he's great, his old ass, whatever the fuck. But this movie does the same thing where it's like, these gangsters, these Asian gangster kids are fucking with him, fucking with this little boy that's innocent. The whole 2 hours of the fucking movie, Mr. Clint Eastwood walking around with this racist ass. By the way, I like how the protagonist is a racist fuck. Alan.
Yeah, because he was in a war against the people that moved in next door.
He's racist against everybody. Isn't he racist against black people too?
Well, it's one of those things where it's like he kind of like when he. I'm not a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino. I've honestly only ever maybe seen 2 movies.
Quentin Tarantino, right? Clint Eastwood, you mean?
Sorry, I was Clint Eastwood. Man, fuck you. All y'all. But
Tarantino. Somebody Photoshop
hard. Holy shit! But I love Quentin Tarantino.
Tarantino's face on the Clint Eastwood. I definitely want to see that now.
Kill Bill is a favorite movie. But anyway, the whole thing is like when you're watching, like, because again, I want to say like I'm not, I don't have the back catalog that everyone else does. I've only ever seen 2 movies by the guy. But one of the ones that friends sent me down just to watch down, Gran Torino. And I remember at first, like when you kind of see him, it's like, yeah, I've spoken like, yeah, I was in a war, I've fought, a bunch of people. And it's like when you kind of see him, it's like the time period he probably grew up in, and then him being in a war, it kind of showed where it's like when he sees the neighbors go by, they're just normal people. They're just living their lives, and he just happens to be next door. And the whole movie is just like, oh wait, shit, the war taught me that those people are the enemy. It was the war that taught me that those aren't the enemy. I just think they are. And then when he tries to, because he points a fucking rifle at a bunch of kids at one point and goes, I could shoot you in the face and go away and sleep and not lose a wink of sleep. And then they get scared the fuck off. Because he's trying to show it's like, okay, those aren't dead. That's him trying to do what you want. Him trying to point a gun at them and be like, let's solve the problem. But then they come back and they horribly beat the shit out of the daughter and do God knows what to her. So he goes, okay, the only way to stop them is to get the police involved. I can't go to the police directly, so I'm essentially going to pull a Red Dead Redemption's ending. If you like Red Dead Redemption's ending and you hate Gran Torino's ending, you're full of shit.
Yeah, and I'm that.
And that was our review of Gran Torino.
Yeah,
and Red Dead.
Yeah, but no, like, I don't know. For me, Elle does that shit. She's. I mean, they might as well put the Rocky music in the background. Like, it's the eye of the tiger. I'm gonna fuck up my rapist. Like the whole goddamn thing. And she literally doesn't do shit. Another man comes in the room, hits the fucking bad guy with a goddamn crowbar, wherever the fuck it was. One of the lamest deaths in a while, except for the goriness when they zoom into the dude's face. But it only lasts literally 10 seconds. I'm not joking. 10 fucking seconds. And that's it. And it's like,
movie
wow.
ruined.
Oh, by the way, it's called the game movie, by the way, because so much video game development goes into. This is literally the worst video game movie, the worst rapist
Oh my
movie,
god,
the
I
worst
was
feminist
mad
movie.
too. Nick didn't understand why I was fuming, because they were showing the boot. Okay, for anybody that has PlayStation now, there's a game that's called Styx. This garbage fucking like stealth action game. And I was looking, like, they show gameplay, like, because they're making the game. And I'm looking at there going, that looks so familiar. It's like a discount Prince of Persia. Why do I feel like I played this? And then they show the company. I start screaming. Oh my god, you motherfucker. I can't believe I'm seeing this shit. Fuck you and everyone that works here. And I'm making fun of the studio the entire time throughout this fucking movie.
Yeah, man. I was trying to look it up right now. I can't fucking find the thing.
It's called Styx with a Y. It's not even worth your goddamn time. It is such a fucking pile
Honestly,
of shit.
I have to show it. Here it is. Okay.
Oh my
The only reason why
God.
I'm showing it to people is because this is not a great looking game, right? You're just seeing this. It's like, okay, whatever. Fuck it, Sticks. think of these characters, or at least a couple of these characters in the game, raping each other, or not raping each other, but one raping the other with this big octopus dick cock thing, a bunch of tentacles and everything, running up this girl constantly. Oh, but you know what? Let's see it 2 more times, except for the second of the 2 more times. Let's Photoshop her face on it in the most horribly done. Honestly, Sony Vegas could do better. I don't know what the fuck.
I don't even think that's in the game. I think that was just there to justify that
no,
scene as they're in a video game company. Was it?
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't in the game. Even when they're developing the game, it wasn't in there storyline wise. But it's funny how, we had to keep seeing this over and over again to keep pushing in sticks, PlayStation, sticks.
Yeah, this is the weirdest advertisement I've ever seen for a video game in my life.
Yeah, it's like the Wizard for the NES, like California, but it's like please rape me. Okay. Yeah, this is a fuck it. That's all I can say. I hate this movie. But really, really quick. We're not. I told y'all it's gonna be a long ass flex and chill. Alan, Batman Ninja, horrible or not so horrible? What do you think?
Okay. Well, just because again you skipped over what my review of my rating for the last movie is.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna go as high as a fuck it because there were some parts where it's like it kept me going.
No.
But I'm gonna go avoid it. Like honestly, this is borderline fuck it because there's so much of the movie that could be cut out. Like Elle, as far as I'm saying. But there's enough intriguing me that kept me going that I'd give it an avoid it because this isn't worth your time. But Batman Ninja, I'm gonna say this right now is a fuck it.
Well, actually, really,
This is the worst fucking Batman-related thing I've ever seen. This makes Batman and Robin look like an Oscar award-winning movie. Because at least that movie, to a certain degree, like is Batman. This, I'm gonna sum the why I hate this movie up in one line. So he gets transported to Japan in the most stupidest way possible because Gorilla Grodd just says fuck it, I'm bored one day and built a time machine. And then goes in there and then it's like, well, I got all my tech. I got my suit. I got my fucking Batmobile. I got a motorcycle. I got Alfred. I got everything I need. Runs up onto the Joker, who's basically pulling like a shitty version of Mark Hamill. Who it basically would happen if you think fucking Jared Leto is bad at Joker? Holy shit, he looks like Mark Hamill compared to this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, it is so fucking bad. But basically, what happens, like the baseball is, he runs up with all of his tech, gets completely owned, and then he's like, oh no, what am I gonna do now? Looks at his hand, going, but without my gadgets, how am I the Batman? Yeah. I fucking just started yelling because you're the Dark Knight. You don't need tech. The tech just makes you better at what you actually can do. And the whole movie is just like, I don't even know how to describe the rest of the plot of this movie. The Joker has all this crazy, weird fucking tech and is in this Japanese fucking warlord. And it plays like a video game because all of the random villains of town, Poison Ivy, Penguin, all these people have a corner of Japan because a bunch of people from Gotham managed to take over the entirety of feudal Japan and apparently in the course of a year and a half. And then you have to fight them in this convoluted fucking manner and then deal with, apparently for some fucking reason, there's an entire clan of ninjas that have the Batman symbol as their fucking like icons for some fucking reason. The art style just wildly fucking changes. I'm gonna keep fucking yelling, but I'll let somebody else fucking talk about this garbage.
It sounds like somebody on fanfiction.net got a video game made, and that makes me very
This feels
sad.
like the plot of a video game. This feels like the plot of Arkham Japan.
This feels like anime fan fiction. Like even to the trailers I've seen of it, we're just like, just some anime dude just like, what if Batman was a ninja? And they just spitballed any idea they could about that. Like,
it's ridiculous
let's do
because
that.
it gets worse
So
because basically
cocaine and decided to have some sake with it. Got it.
Oh yeah, no,
Yes.
it gets much worse as it goes on, and like the Joker's doing the worst. Like this is the worst Joker I've ever seen animated or live action because he's like, "Well, hello, Batman, I'm gonna kill you!" Ha ha ha! That laugh, every single sentence he ends with some weird maniacal laugh. We were watching this, even though it was English dub, we watched it subtitled. Maniacal laugh. You can play a drinking game every time it shows up. It's like 45 times in this fucking movie. It is ridiculous how often he fucking says it. But the climax of this movie, and I'm gonna spoil it because fuck this fucking movie. The climax of this movie is. Gorilla Grodd gave tech to all the fucking villains so that they can make this weird giant house mech things that can walk. They all start to fight each other. Then Gorilla Grodd combines them all into one thing. The Joker comes out of nowhere, steals it. So there's a giant mech. But then because Batman saved Gorilla Grodd through some convoluted bullshit, gives him a Pied Piper to get billions of fucking monkeys to form a giant monkey for another mech fight. By the way, this is feudal Japan, by the way, in case I didn't say this. Oh, I'm not done yet. Now a bunch of bats show up because out of nowhere wrap around the monkey, and then turn into a mecha Batman.
An old 1960s mecha Batman, by the way.
So wait, it's Gundam mixed with Howl's Moving Castle.
Pretty much. Oh my god!
It's Voltron mixed with Howl's Moving Castle.
Dude, Allie watched it with us, and about like an hour in, and she's like, guys, I'm going to bed. I'm like, I'll just text you the fucking ending. I'm not even going to fight for you to stay. This is the most convoluted trash I've ever sat through, because it's like they're trying to be like, it's like a checklist of everything Japanese. We need random cutesy monkeys. We need random robots. We need to be feudal Japan. We need samurai swords. We need ninjas. We need crazy eccentric outfits. It is like a checklist of everything that is terrible. Like, I almost like, and I've been outspoken that I'm not a huge fan of Assault on Arkham, mostly because of the ending. But honestly, that movie's a fucking like that movie. I forgive that movie now. I forgive every DC animated movie ever made, even Justice League Dark, because they can make shitty Batman movies. Holy shit, these guys made the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is just bad.
And that's the thing. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen in my life when it comes to Batman. But I will agree with you in the sense of like, you know, that shit at the end. This is honestly, you know how I say shit that maybe Asian people are offended by when I'm like, oh, and you got the big fucking robots and the big fucking ripper the bear, and I'm like talking shit and it almost sounds racist sometimes. This movie seems like I made it. Like, because it's like, hey, Asian people, Japanese people, they love robots, right? Batman and a robot. Man, they always have to say like, oh, hello, welcome. Well, this movie does it. You know, not all Asian people do that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
some do. But...
It's honestly the plot of this movie. Like, in my head, when I first heard this story and I first heard the plot of this movie, I was super excited because I thought it was going to be like a Gotham by Gaslight, where it's like Batman in the Victorian era. I thought, oh, Batman in Ninja Time? That's going to be so fucking cool. They're going to just have like Bruce Wayne in like a Japanese Gotham and all that stuff. And it's going to be like, oh, what's it like if Batman grew up in Japan? That's going to be so cool, right? It's so fucking unbelievably stupid.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, who wrote this fucking movie?
I don't even know. But like
somebody
I said,
with some great cocaine.
I like how Julian in the shower now is saying like, oh man, I'm gonna watch this fucking movie, but man, that Justice League, that shit's too ridiculous for me. Like, what the fuck?
It makes the ending of Ready Player One look like an Academy Award winning movie.
Yeah, like I said, dude, I don't hate this shit that much as you do, but it's like when you see so many good Batman cartoons come out way back in the day, you had a template, you had something that you could not do but do shit around. You know, like there's so much stuff there. It's like, don't do that, don't do this, don't. I mean, come on, dude. Like at this point, with all the shit that's going around with DC, you'd know what mistakes not to make, and they made all of them and worse, and found new ways to make mistakes. Animation. It was cool, but it zooms so far in, I feel like I'm watching an anime version of Batman Begins. I feel like Nolan's behind this shit. I can't see what the fuck is going on, Alan. Like,
yeah, there are some fights. Like, there's a fight scene at the end with the swords that's kind of cool, but it's like, as Evan Mo reminded me, they have a random ass sidekick because Damian Wayne, as played by Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender, because he acts exactly like the same fucking character, right down to the Momo on his back, or in my case, Penelope on my shoulder. Like, it's ridiculous because all these characters are fucking wrong. All of them, except for Harley Quinn, because all you have to do is just make an annoying girl in a skirt with a hammer. That's all you gotta do to make Harley Quinn recognizable. But Poison Ivy looks like she has pink hair for some fucking reason. Second of all, why would she ever join up with the villains? She hates all men. And why would she ever work with Tex? She's a plant person.
Yeah,
none of this makes any sense.
And that's the thing too, man, is like on top of this as well, I think one thing as far as the story goes and like the ending goes as well is to throw us back to what we first talked about, Cobra Kai. What sucks about this is that there's too many villains. What works with Cobra Kai is that there's so many great characters, so much great personalities that you don't need a villain. They're all interesting. You know what I mean? Because they can hold their own in their fucking story. This, you know, it's bad enough to just have one villain, especially the same one in Joker. But you got like what, like 5, 6? You had like
there's at least because you have the 5 feudal lords, and then you have Grodd, and then Joker, and then Harley.
And they're all like main villains too. It's not like they're like, oh, we're subservient to this guy's. Like, no, it's a big war, and you're telling this war story that should be going on for a season in a 1.5 hour movie. It's fucking overkill. It's overwhelming. It's too much. Even if it was good, I would be tired out by so much shit going on.
Like,
for me,
it feels like this should be the plot of the next Batman Arkham game, where it's like you have to go fight in the different, you know, regions of the area to defeat the villains of the area, like the plot of Far Cry, like Far Cry 5 Saints Row type thing in the Arkham games. If this was the plot to the next Arkham, it'd be really fucking cool. But it's so unbelievably trash, and it's like, I don't know. I thought Little Ragnarok gave this a good review, and I'm just baffled. Like, what do you think was good about this? No, it wasn't okay. I thought somebody gave this a good review because
I've seen some positive reviews like IGN, but there's
fuck IGN.
I know, but there's been a lot of mixed reviews overall from people. So
I honestly think what it is because it's Japanese and they're a bunch of weebs.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, I'll call it like the fuck it is, man. This is some weeb bullshit, and honestly, like as someone that's slowly watching anime a lot, this is like some trash, like some utter trash.
Yeah, and yeah, for me, this is definitely like I will say this, and it's like I mean this in the most negatively way possible, but stream it. But it's bad. But I say stream it because it is an experience. It is fucking weird, and you should watch this with a friend. And honestly, this I used to hate anime. This was a good thing to watch to know. Okay, there is anime that's worse, and it doesn't have to be what's wrong with anime. It could just be just bad because it's bad. You know what I mean?
You have a range now.
Yeah, it's like this. Honestly, it's not bad because of the anime aspects. Take anything that's anime based out of this, it's even worse. It's like the anime shit tried to help it. It tried to say, hey, we're going to do this. And the Batman part of it was like, nope, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? And I think this is why this sucked. Because if this wasn't in Japanese animation, this was like, you know, our typical Batman shit, it still would have been awful. But yeah, for me, stream it. But Alan, what do you think, sir?
Okay, it's one of those things when Nick always argues about canon in comics. Me, Trey, a bunch of other comics always come back and it's like, it's all about you take the core of what makes the character, like Spider-Man. There's so many offshoots of Spider-Man, but he's generally the same character. He just goes on different offshoots of adventures, and when they do a movie, they pick what works in every canon. So the movies are an amalgamation of the comics. This is one of those things where it ruins the fucking character. The thing about Batman, the thing that made Batman really interesting is he's not Iron Man. Iron Man is all the suit. It is the suit. Hell, he doesn't even need to be in the suit half the time. He could just send a bunch of robots and he controls the suit through VR magic. The thing is, Batman he's always been it's the man. He can just he can beat the fuck out of you with a fist. New 52, he beats up a bunch of ninjas in his pajamas because the suit just protects his identity and gives him an edge against bad guys and makes him afraid. This movie makes it think that all he is a tech, to the extent where the character says, "What about tech?" Like, you are the Dark Knight. You can defeat people with just your bare fist and your intelligence because that's what makes you interesting. And to me, this movie just completely throws that out of the fucking works. Like, he relies on his toys. Like, no, that's not what Batman is. And that honestly, I wish we had a lower rating than fuck it, but this is the lowest rating. Fuck it and avoid it. Don't stream it. And if you rent it, I'll punch you. And if you buy it, I'll kill you.
God damn.
I got it.
All review rating. Okay.
A new rating. Okay. Burn all physical copies.
You know what? I can roll with that. Burn it all.
Burn it all.
I'm glad I avoided watching this piece of shit.
Oh god, it was bad. Like,
oh Lord, man. But Mr. Ganja Guru, before we get out of here, one thing I noticed. I was mad. I am sorry, Ganja. But I forgot to ask what your rating was of Elle.
No, I gave my rating. That's why I'm glad Alan didn't stop with his anger. I said fuck it. I gave it all the reasons that everyone else prescribes. It's a horrible movie, slow as fuck, and fuck it. Like, besides like the cool idea when he was going with this, but didn't go all the way with it. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I just didn't hear you. But and because you said fuck it, Julian loves it and he enjoys rape and holding.
Of course you did. You fucking ordered it on Blu-ray. Go fuck yourself, Julian.
Wait. Did he really just order Batman Ninja on Blu-ray?
All right. Is he just like in like whenever they rate like a fuck you, I'm buying it?
Yeah, like man, you're being petty as fuck right
when
now.
we go the after hours, Alan hates it. That must be a good movie, right?
Yeah, it's like okay, yeah.
Fuck
Julian,
you, man. You know what? Waste your fucking money. I hope you hate it. So that way you wasted your money too.
Colossal's a great movie.
True.
That's true. So
and Animal. Don't forget about that.
Here.
Yo, that was the first time I ever seen Ruthless and him argue like for a minute.
I know, and it was only a minute too, because Ruthless.
I didn't like that movie. I just said I didn't hate it.
That around here, that counts as you love it.
Nah, man. I'll say this in Justin's defense: he wasn't hating on, like, he was hating it with you guys. There were certain parts he didn't hate.
Justin,
and I have less problem with Justin because Justin made a very clear, concise point about what he felt about the film. It was Julian that I had the problem with, and he knows why.
He only liked the movie because he only likes Colossal because it's a bartender with a beard.
Basically. Good Lord. But here's the thing, folks. So I want to show you this real quick because we're about to get the fuck out of here. But and I'll be making these when we first get into the rabbit. But at the after hours viewing party. Now we were gonna have satire night, but the thing is it's made Justin actually corrected me on the date.
Revenge of the 5th. God damn it!
I don't know what the date is today, so I don't know what the fuck trying to joke we're trying to make.
Today
It's the 6th.
Yeah,
First
now
of all, watch
it's
it
now it's
the 6th.
It's
now
just
it's
now on the
Oh,
East
right,
Coast,
yeah.
yeah.
Time zones, people.
God damn it.
Yeah.
It's Attack of the 6th.
You motherfuckers. But
Revenge
no.
of the 6.
You motherfuckers. No, but so just for anyone listening, because I'm going to start trying to put these on SoundCloud at some point. Satire Night, Tropic Thunder is our choice our choices are Tropic Thunder, This Is the End, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and This is Spinal Tap.
Not the World's End?
Say what?
Not the World's End?
I don't know shit about
It's
the movie.
okay. Like no, it's still considered satire, but it's an okay movie. I prefer either Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz over the end.
I like Tropic Thunder, man. Booty sweat juice.
Yeah.
I like Tropic Thunder because it starts off terrible, but somehow redeems itself by the end.
Yeah, and Jenny's saying, like, can we watch them all? Well, we would, but I bet we're tomorrow. Okay.
You have a hyperbolic time chamber?
But and then
Sunrise chat attack. Woo!
I know.
Literally.
Oh
You
god.
don't want that. Nick gets loopy when the CC.
Oh god, I can't wait to go through those.
Oh yeah, no. People when I do a sunrise chat attack, just be careful. I go crazy. Like literally. Anyways, moving on. If I can click the right shit, goddammit. And Star Wars, our choices for that is The Force Awakens, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. I spelled the shit wrong. I put Returns. I know I suck. And The Last Jedi. Now, the reason why The Last Jedi is there is because people are gonna want to watch a shitty Star Wars movie because they're all bad. But aside from that, sorry, Ganja. But that'll be a good one. For us.
Get out, Nick.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, we'll add that to the list too.
Yeah, that too. But no, you guys can, talk during that, etc. That's a good thing to choose for that. And then I didn't put Revenge or the Sith, whatever the fuck it's called. I didn't put that there because it actually is a horrible movie. And if tonight I'm doing the after hours, and I'm not gonna want to sit through a bunch of horrible shit. I can take some bad, but that is one of the fucking worst. And I know you guys are like, oh, we gotta watch it because it's Return of the fucking blah blah blah. No, fuck that.
But then you put Last Jedi on the list, so.
Because at least people can talk through it. Revenge or Return of the whatever the fuck. And by the way, some people don't think it's bad. That's another thing. That big horror we had.
But, okay.
There's a kaleidoscope of effects.
Yeah, because I don't want to talk shit about anybody and say anyone's wrong with The Last Jedi. Because I don't like the movie either, but then again, it's like, it's the same as every other fucking Star Wars, so what's so bad?
Don't start this fight, sir.
I'm just saying.
Oh, you will lose.
We got enough fights, man.
I'm just saying, Ganja, it's a little disloyal of you to quit Star Wars. Oh, really quick before we continue.
Oh, God.
Han Solo, I'm going to call this motherfucker out. He does not want to watch Han Solo in a movie theater right away. It took one movie, The Last Jedi, to do this to you? Not the
one
fucking
movie,
prequels?
it's two.
Well, you didn't like Rogue One?
And I was also the ages of 6 to 12 when the prequels came out.
Oh, but you were still up on that Star Wars teat like the whole fucking time. Oh, I love
You're
Star
damn
Wars.
right.
Yeah.
I had a lot of great animation that came out. I had some good comic books and fucking great video games. I was sucking that teat hard, and then they gave me sour milk. Twice.
Oh, God.
Well, hey, you might not. Nobody here is gonna want to watch Solo, but that literally outsold Black Panther in the same time period.
It's
Who
outpacing
bought
your
this?
pre-sales.
All right, all I know is I'm gonna see it day one too, but not in the ways that these people are.
Hey, man, look, I gotta go support my man Donald Glover, man. You know, I love
Is
it.
that really like part of me thinking?
I'm
That's the
watching
main
him
reason?
already. He's got me.
Is he as pop? Is he more? Is Donald Glover more popular than Black Panther?
Plus,
I mean, a little bit, yeah.
Donald Glover makes Atlanta, so he gets all my viewership.
Yeah, I know,
that.
but like,
Dude, what if Solo was actually an Atlanta feature-length film? Like it was a big fake.
I would love that.
So he's
I would see that like 5 times. I would see it if they make like a parody of his appearance in Solo in Atlanta. I'm in for the next
they
one.
probably will. He'll get the coat.
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
That coat is sick, though. I love that coat, man.
Give him a Colt 45. Yeah, the Colt malt liquor.
I think it's
That's
a Colt
exactly it.
45.
Atlanta season 3. Donald Glover does a Colt 45 commercial.
That would be fucking great.
Fucking terrible. But you, Mr. Ganja Guru, I want you to tell the folks about that Midnight Chat Attack Facebook page before we get the fuck out of here.
Well, guys, you come down to the Facebook page. You guys hang out with us, message us, send us little notifications, meme, gifts, all that good stuff. Or you can also check out the Untitled Video Game Show. That's what me and my co-host here, Birdman, do the video game show every Friday, 7:30 CST time, where we bullshit, hang out, play some video games. This week we celebrate May the 4th be with you with some Knights of the Republic and just some good old video game and Star Wars conversation.
And tonight,
Nick is occasionally our co-host on that, and we always like having him, especially Trey Cooper as well.
absolutely. And tonight, once again, after hours viewing party, we'll give you the rabbit. We'll put it in the fucking double tilted chat room, or we'll put it at the bottom of the comment page on our actual YouTube live stream. Just give it a little bit for it to do its fucking thing. But we are getting the fuck out of here. So on that 5 and on that 4, Mr. Allen, and I think Ganja's back in here. No, he's gone. And now he's back again. God damn, your shit's fucked up today, Ganja.
Where am I?
No idea.
Oh man, no. On 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attach the chat.
Okay, that's
Yes, that's the chat.
He left again. What
We'll
happened?
watch Backlash tomorrow. AJ Styles.